Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of what we're going to be calling the Smobcast. So,
Ain't
me
no
and
way.
yeah, yeah. So me and Plushy decided that this was a great idea. Say hello, YouTube, everyone. We're recording this live over here on Twitch. So if we're gonna be doing this more often, you guys can come over and join us here at the Twitch channel that is listed below. But yeah, everyone knows Plushy. Hello, Plushy.
Hello, how's it going? Oh, I
Uh,
should say the thing. All right, hey everybody, Plushy here.
Yeah,
How's
he
it
said
going?
the thing. He said the
I
line
forgot.
part.
I gotta say the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, today what we're just gonna be talking about, we're just gonna be talking about like summer servants, like the summer servants from 2023.
Yeah.
No, just we got some stuff to talk about.
A
I'm
lot.
sure, yeah, you guys might have seen the hot takes video from Plushy. We might discuss that a little bit. Because we are just going to be going one by one and talking about all of them. But yeah, first podcast episode. I'm hyped for this. Dude, I was sitting there, you said that you're taking longer than expected on that video, and I was like, dang, man, what kind of endeavor is it? And I was thinking, okay, I'm just gonna listen to it right quick before stream, and then I see it's fucking like 24 minutes long, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. No
I
wonder
tried
it
to
took so long.
I tried to cut stuff out because I feel like I got too carried away talking about the Infinite team. I decided to cut.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm
The
glad I gave you more to talk about.
Oh, definitely. That was a very cool team. I have to.
Yeah, that team comp's, it's something else.
Yep.
But we're gonna talk about that when we get to Smob. And that's going to be happening, yeah, midways through. Actually, on the back half, whatever. So we're
Yeah.
gonna be starting up with, let me get I'm gonna be putting the pictures up as we go. Got Berker right here.
Ooh, you got slideshows.
Yeah. If if necessary, we can cut over to wait, hold on. The picture underneath that. And that. What did I just do? Okay. Oh. Where's Berker? Where'd Berker go? Oh no, she
Berker.
vanished.
Oh boy.
Okay. She'll probably show up again later.
Hope that is.
Jeez. Okay, that goes underneath, that goes above, right? That, bam.
Lost a bottom layer or something.
Yeah. Uh, there we go. She's just gonna be popping up in the middle. That way casual watchers can like look at her and like know what we're talking about without having to hear who we're talking about. So we're gonna start
Yep.
off with Artoria, Caster, Berserker, or Berker. It's an easier way to say it. It doesn't really make any sense, but
Yeah.
did I leave the Shiba? Oh, I don't. Thought I turned that one off. Maybe I clicked it twice. But yeah, just I guess we can look through the kit right
Those.
quick, just
Yeah.
just to refresh ourselves and for the viewers that aren't quite familiar with her, because I mean all of us are very familiar with her by now.
Yeah. Of course, we gotta introduce those.
Yep, yep, yep. So this is Artoria Caster, but she's got Berserker icon now. It's the special thing about her. So she's got pretty good gains, like 1.6% arts cards on a Buster arts deck is actually pretty standard. But
Mhm.
her gains are helped a lot because she's got like this big absorb skill, and like most Berserkers don't have that type of stuff going on. But yeah, they can like double uh like doubled their gain a lot with their crits, and it's just all around a really good skill. 50% battery, good for gain.
The fact that it's 6-turn cooldown is just so absurd to me. The fact that like they love to increase cooldowns of these kind of like compound skills, especially ones with like good effects. They didn't nerf any of the numbers. The crit buff is 50%. It's not like 30%, right?
Yeah.
So like I am just surprised they didn't like nerf it in any aspect. Kind of ridiculous, personally.
Yeah.
God.
I mean, to be fair though, last year we did have basically the same skill on Sumrobuki, but it's actually kind of a lower cooldown. So,
True.
yeah.
Because of the cooldown reduction. Yeah, they kind of go crazy with the with
Yeah.
the summer server.
Yeah, dude.
Man.
Then we got NP gauge, so she has a targetable battery, so she has 70% battery for herself, 20% for whoever else if you want to share it. So it's basically the same skill as her caster version, except I think the cooldown is 1 turn longer. The NP gain is lower, but there's 2-stage overcharge, which is, well, I mean, yes, she does have Castoria synergy, one could say.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, overcharge has always been like hit or miss in my opinion. Like,
yeah,
most characters, I don't feel like they're too valuable. Like, it's just tonally, right? Like, other characters, it like probably affects their damage, mostly like anti-trait damage. I don't really see this being super relevant other than tonally specific, which is, I guess that's like a funny reference to.
yeah.
It's just
Yeah, I like it. I like it because it can like get you some overcharge levels on a support NP. It's like you might be running her with Castoria or maybe
Oh,
Tamamo.
true. Yeah, I do like that.
Yeah, you get extra stacks or you get extra charge, and then like it helps them get their NP a lot easier. So
Yeah,
I think it's not that huge for herself, but it's pretty good for the support she's running with.
True. I forgot. I was just only talking about farming when. Yeah, for CQs, it's obviously really good with the caster, and it kind of solves the problem that a lot of people have with her, which is like we'll get into that later, I guess, which is the Psalm defense clashing with both story, but it kind of solves. So, yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. And then the last one, she's sort of got that skill, the third skill from Castoria. It's but it's not targetable. It's 1 turn invul, 3 turn arts. 50% too. That's a pretty notable amount. And then she gets stars per turn, which pairs up with her first skill. So she's got the same effects as Sumrobuki in that regard. Except unlike Sumrobuki, she has survival, which is something that she kind of suffers from. So like that's a 3-turn mana burst. That's just it's a lot for damage, and it's also really good for her gains. So she consistently, so she'll have like what is that, 2.4% arts cards with this, and then she's also critting, so like no gain issues at all.
Yeah. When you use one card, there's sort of for her a little bit worse refund, a little bit worse. It's not even.
I think you're cutting out a little bit.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I'll try to stay close to the mic. I think is that the problem? Maybe.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
I'm like planting my face in the mic now, so I hope it's a little bit better.
Just tie it to your face and get some duct tape.
Yep.
All right. So she's got Madness Enhancement A, which is like a little bit of card damage. I guess that's good for her because she has nothing else for buster cards other than the crit buff. She actually has Magic Resist, which most casters do not. Obviously, she's not a caster, but she keeps it from her caster version, and there's only 2 casters, last I checked, that have Magic Resist specifically. And then she's got Item Construction E. Very useful for her plethora of debuffs she inflicts. Oh. Okay, actually, she does do 1 debuff. I forgot about that. And dude, look, she has her third append as a passive, but for everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
How amazing. right? Just shows you how good this third append is. Am I right?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
god.
dude. Yeah, if you max
Very
out her third append, you have 50% crit resist from pretenders. That means she is. It doesn't mean anything. Who am I kidding? Like you're going to kill Oberon really fast.
What an amazing, sixth copy. Right? I'm very glad that you pulled the sixth SSR for the past.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Like, I don't know, man. I feel like her appends are just not useful at all. It's like, I mean
most Berserker append, kind of whatever. I don't
yeah.
know.
And then the second append, like, I mean, you're only gonna get so much use out of it because she has a 50% battery, and then she has another 20%. So I guess like you're 10% away from something there, and then most supports don't do 10%.
I mean, that means you can throw the 20 on someone else. I can only see the use in like multi-core. I don't really see it in anything, honestly. So
yeah,
depends on you, really.
And then I don't really see the first append being that useful because she has nothing to enhance her extra attack normally, and usually
I mean, you solo with her. She
Well,
can
yeah.
do some, I'd say, but
yeah. I mean, you can say that for most anyone, and like I do think she's a pretty good solo servant, but I mean, she's still a berserker at the end of the day.
yeah.
But yeah, then she's got this cool NP. It's one attack, one turn, anti-purge defense for everyone. You know, the thing that Castoria is known for. Everyone gets hard survival for one turn.
Yep. Well, she gotta have
Pretty
that.
balanced.
That's like, for flavor. For flavor.
Yeah. Yeah, just free survival. And then she gets extra damage against threat to humanity, another thing she kept as a caster. Then 50% against chaotic and 50% against divine, so she's got like a big spread of niches. And there's some good overlap on some of them. There's a good amount of threat to humanity chaotic, and then threat to humanity divine, chaotic divine, yeah. So she gets her bonus damage a lot. And then she also has this one debuff that I did not realize she has, because she already has 4 other effects.
Yeah, it's really good. Stackable as well. It's 3 turns.
Yeah. And then, yeah, so like,
yeah.
40% crit resist to go along with the 30% anti-pretender resist.
Oh, see. She can actually reach 100% crit resist against Oberon for a single turn. Because of Fey Eyes, and then the do they add? I think they add, right?
Yeah.
110% even, right?
And
You don't even have to max your pen.
and then she just gets killed off by normal cards that aren't critting.
You
She's
don't
taking double damage.
It's very important that she doesn't get crit by Oberon, alright?
Yeah.
It's extremely important for a character to not get crit by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, she's just got like a really solid NP. She's just got a lot going on here. Like, she's got some semi-support stuff. Her card damage is good. Her NP damage, and I mean, it's not upgraded, so like that's some edge that Kentucky and Vlad have over her. But like, I don't know, Vlad doesn't have very many edges over her, like at all.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like there are a couple of like clear flaws you can talk about this character, which is her poor refund if you really want to loop 111 nodes for some reason. Like those don't even exist. Those exist like once during Summer 7. Right? Those don't even exist. But
you
some
see,
people really like
but
to
you see, we're able to do it, and there's a node in Olympus that lets us do it, so it is applicable.
Yeah, but she can't do the one in Lost Belt 7 because the first enemy is an assassin. Aha, get wrecked. Well, that's like literally the only argument against it, which is kind of stupid. But
yeah.
Also, I think she can do it if she has a pen 2. I just didn't have a pen 2 because I only rolled 1. So
yeah, I just think she's got so much going on. So the another. Okay, I'm using filler words. I was just reading something my brother sent me. That's so really the only edge I see on Vlad over her is just like he does get the refund in higher end setups.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of higher end setups, he doesn't really have that advantage, and I definitely prefer her over him. Especially if she
Mm-hmm.
has one niche, at least one niche.
Yeah,
And
and chaotic and divine are like everywhere. They're kind of like everywhere. It's just kind of stupid.
yeah,
All right.
yeah, and
Yeah.
honestly, dude, niche, you gotta be careful with having niches on a berserker, because you can use berserkers all sorts of places, but as soon as that niche applies to anything, you can justify using the berserker there, and they're gonna outdamage some counterclassers.
Yeah.
So if she has a better kit in general than whatever counterclassing servant you have, then why not use her instead?
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna reply to this guy in chat. So 1-2x and 2-1x nodes are pretty common. Plus, exactly. But when you're doing like 1-2x or 2-1x, you're not doing the loop as we like to. You're not doing all supports and then looping with just Summer Castoria. You're like doing Castoria on first wave, and then you're having an AOE do second wave, and then you have her do a third wave on like the highest HP character, for example, right? So like when she does that, then she has an edge against other people because she has 70 charge. She doesn't need to refund it. She just she has battery. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter what card type she.
yeah,
So it
she can give someone else battery. So, and she has more battery on her own.
main thing is she doesn't have a lot of utility. I don't think she needs utility. She's a single target DPS. She doesn't really need
Yeah,
utility, in my opinion. Like having the solemn defense for the entire team is already really good utility. I think I mentioned this in my hot take, where it's like a lot of times when I'm doing these kinds of teams, I'm like, oh, should I charge my team's MP to get their hard defense up, so I don't die, or should I, just focus on looping my DPS's MP by using their? Well, guess what? She can do both. So I'm just gonna loop her MP instead. All
yeah.
right. So yeah.
So something you mentioned earlier is since Solemn Defense doesn't stack, that can be a little bit of awkwardness if you're
Yeah.
using her with Castoria, and like let's be honest, if you can, you're using her with Castoria.
Yeah. Definitely.
So you can't. So you don't want to do her NP then Castoria's NP like you do with everyone else's. But that's
Yeah.
not entirely a bad thing because she can go ahead and give Castoria 2 levels of overcharge. So you can chain it backwards and you get like the overcharge on Berker. So
You also the damage buff on her MP with Castoria. So
yeah, yeah, and then you get 3 stacks. So that's more than you get doing the other kind of chain. So
yeah.
it works out.
50 rings asks, how does she compare to Draco? Well, this is actually pretty interesting. I mean, I don't have a super beefed Castoria. I think there's still clear distinctions. Berserkers can fight against. Actually, like, in fact, a lot of times you're fighting extra classes with Berserkers because you can't like pull an extra class counter class, out of nowhere for a lot of people, right? A lot of people, like most people, would probably have like one of each of the main classes, but like sometimes you can't really just suddenly, oh, I just have a pretender to counter this alter ego. You don't always have that, but you always have berserkers. So she has a lot more coverage than Draco because Draco she can't fight extra class, right?
Yeah.
But Draco does have a higher damage ceiling because she also has niches, and one of her niche is literally like servants, which is that's it's like a
And then it, and
FGO has a lot of servants, right?
and then
This game
her
has a lot
other
of servants.
then her other niche is a command code that you get
Yeah,
on the same event.
yeah, her other niche is if I attack with this card first, I get anti-trip, right? So like, it's kind of ridiculous. So, and also Draco has, she doesn't if she's fighting knight, like normal 7 class servants, which I don't know why you wouldn't. She takes half. Like she's completely different from Castoria in my opinion because she's not vulnerable to taking hits from these classes. She actually is welcome to take hits. So they do function a little bit different. Unless you mean farming, then I would say probably a maxed out Castoria is pretty close to a maxed out Draco. I'd say they probably form pretty close. Like I do have a level 90 Draco to test out, and I feel like they're pretty similar. Castoria has better multi-core because she has more charge, like 70 more charge compared to Draco. Draco only has a slow charge, so her team comp is a little bit more limited. But yeah,
You know,
depends on your.
This is something kind of interesting I thought of that, like, I've never heard someone take this angle. Why are we comparing her to Berserkers? Draco, that is, instead of rulers.
Because she
'Cause,
does 1.5. I think because people only care about farm, right? Like,
'cause,
no
like,
offense,
I
but
feel like the biggest competition that Draco has is Estrella, not Galatea or the others.
yeah. Well, I'm guessing it's because of farming. Yeah, it's 1.5 times damage against most classes, right? Like if
Yeah.
people talk about CQs, then it's just completely different because Draco can face tank everything very often, even
Yeah.
though she herself doesn't have she doesn't have like any survival. She has like little puny damage cut. I don't even know what that's supposed to be like. It kind of sucks. But other than that, she just face tanked because she has classic, right? Defensive classic.
I guess part of the sorry,
Uh,
just interrupting for no reason.
no,
I guess part of it is, it fell out of my brain. Okay, part of it is because there's very few single target rulers. I can only think of like 2 of them off the top of my head, and they're both 4 stars.
yeah,
But
you're definitely correct.
but like the defensive advantage that you get from rulers is the same as with Draco. She doesn't get the defensive advantage outside of rulers, outside of like in the extra class, unless you're up against moon cancers.
Well, you take
But
double, but you'll never bring her.
yeah,
So,
yeah. But the thing is, rulers only do 1 times damage, whereas Draco does 1.5 times.
she has 3 Buster, and she has she has anti-servant, and
Yeah,
she has the Roman thing. All right, so
yeah. I just never heard anyone compare the 2.
obviously my perspective is gonna be skewed because I have a very beefy Draco, like very very beefy. So it's definitely not gonna be. I feel like most people aren't gonna have the overwhelming powerful feeling when they use Draco if there's P1 stuff, but still, like when you use her against like any of the 7 classes, you just kind of feel like, oh, kind of kills them. And she doesn't die. She kills them before they kill her because she essentially has double HP, right? It's just how it is with class. So I think it's very interesting. But I'm guessing people just want a universal damage dealer, and in that case, you should actually roll for Berker because Draco can't cover any of the extra. Just get screwed. Any.
And then there's a lot of extra classes that are divine or chaotic or threat to humanity.
Yeah.
Granted, the threat to humanity ones are usually also foreigners, so.
Yeah. Here's the funny thing, though. You often hit triple trade against. Like they're like chaotic evil. They're always divine because they're like some outer god shell, a vessel, and then they're threat to humanity. So like she actually can hit super. It's not super, but it's like 50% plus 50%, and then times 1.5. So it's like triple damage, right?
Yeah.
And triple times 0.5 is still 1.5. She actually hits harder than like pure neutral against foreigners. Well, it's not necessarily that impressive, but it's just kind of stupid. That she can even overcome like the one counter class that she can't farm. The one character she can't farm against is probably Draco. Hilarious, I guess, according to what we just talked about.
Hokusai is dead. Yeah.
Save Hokusai.
Yeah. Hokusai. Yeah. All 3 of them. I think that is that the only instance of all 3 of them getting that isn't also a foreigner.
I think it's just her.
Yeah, because I think Yongui Fei is also all 3 of them, but she's a foreigner, so she deals less damage.
And Summer BB, for some reason, isn't threat to humanity. I guess she's a nice person, right? Totally a nice person, not
totally a nice person that wasn't trapping the savior of humanity in a time loop, so he couldn't do anything. Yeah. Very, very lawful good.
Very not threatening to humanity. Exactly. Right. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I think we've done a lot of coverage on Berker here. So
Yeah,
next up,
definitely top tier.
yeah, definitely 10 out of 10. Now, speaking of 10 out of 10, now we got this next one here. A lot of people in chat already know what I think about her, because I did not shut the fuck up about her for a while. So Suzuka is the next one we're talking about. And, like, design-wise, she's peak. Like, my favorite servant from this event. My favorite servant so far this year, honestly. Just peak.
I wanted the Santa one from arcade, and this is essentially the better Santa one from arcade.
Yeah.
So I'll take it.
I'd definitely take a costume for this one, but I know that's not gonna happen, so I'm happy with this, though. All four of the ones I got.
Her profile costume controversy, why? Because she has her tits out? What do you mean? Elaborate, sir.
Elaborate. Why haven't you replied yet?
What can possibly be controversial about? Like, I'm gonna be real. I'm not even joking. Come on. What can possibly be controversial about this? This is clearly just everybody likes it. Anyways, okay. Let's get into the servant.
When do we get an Australian Christmas servant in a summer outfit? When do we get an Australian servant? I mean, I guess we got one Gina, or one Gina. I really shouldn't. I shouldn't say it that way. It's just funny to me. Yeah, she's literally on the top right of my screen right here. Yeah, one Gina.
Oh yeah, yeah, that one.
Yeah, some people are kind of annoyed because she's holding a giant boomerang.
Yeah, it's so funny. Oh, she's Australian. We gotta give her a boomerang. Let's go, giant boomerang. That's Australia, baby.
Dude. So, anyways, matters on hand here. We got Suzuka. Got like all of these stages of Suzuka. Good stuff. So her quick cards are kind of mid. Her arts cards are really good. If you don't have any debuffs factored in, she has better arts cards than Summer Murasaki, which is saying quite something there. Her extra attack is okay. Her Buster card, I mean, what can you say? Like, can't expect much out of a Buster card.
Like, whenever you have same hit counts for, like, quick cards and cards, it's either that the arts card is extremely good or the quick card is extremely shit. So I'm glad that this is the first.
You're cutting out a lot again.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
It's funny, like, looking over at Arish, who has 4-hit quicks and then a 6-hit arts card.
Yeah.
like her quick cards are so meh, but then she's got like the best arts card in the game for no reason.
Yep. Quick card only exists to chain mighty chains to boost the arts card.
Yep.
It's
kind of how it is these days.
Yep.
I've actually been working on this Summer Say guide, and there's a pretty decent chunk of it that is dedicated to talking about the advantages of having a quick NP instead of other types of NPs, because it's good for card damage.
Yeah.
So speaking of some card damage and such. So first skill, it's really simple, 5-turn cooldown. She's got it's just a modified charisma attack, and then NP damage for summer servants, and then 15 stars. Pretty standard skill. Nothing super crazy, but it is a pretty good boost in damage if you're using other summer servants. And then we got quick buff, which I've kind of wished the quick buff was 30%. It seems a little on the low end, but it kind of makes sense because she already has 20% and 20%, so yeah, she has a lot of things boosting her damage as is. But she also has a 50% crit buff, which, hey, that starts amping up that damage. And then she's also got increased attack whenever she crit attacks. So it's the same thing that Summer Hokusai has, except it's just generally better because it's a lot easier to get her to crit. Whereas with
Yep.
Hokusai, it's like you have to dump stars on her, and then you can only get so much out of it.
Yeah.
And then it's crit buffs. So like
Yeah.
oh dude, you gotta crit to get crit buffs. Whereas with this, you crit and then you can enhance everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 6-turn cooldown. It's all right. And then we got this skill, which is a very unique skill. It's self-charge 30%, which means like if you're running 50% CE with a second append or 0%, then you're going to be at 50% or 100%, which is that's pretty cool. It's good for farming. And then NP gain, also good for farming, but also just really good for her arts cards, because her arts cards are already really good. 0.55 times 1.3 times 4. Yeah, we're talking a 2.86% arts card there, but she also has the territory creation, so times 1.06, and she's got over 3% arts cards. That's better than King Hassan's arts cards, and she's got 2 of them.
Yeah.
And she
It's kind of ridiculous.
yeah, and she actually has the absorb to make use of them.
Yeah, because she's a writer.
Yeah, I've seen her loop
Really good.
like with almost no help off of NP art. It's just
Oh,
really nuts.
not even Mighty Chain. I see.
Yeah,
That's kind of
she gets like 80-something% out of a Mighty Chain. It kind of
that's pretty
depends
nuts.
on enemy count, but honestly, even though like one of her main selling points for a lot of people is that she's a quick looper, her NP, I feel like the NP refund isn't like the strongest point for her. It's a thing you can
Oh,
do,
yeah.
but like her cards are just really good.
Yeah. She can only do Black Grill on like neutral. I think somebody had like a fully beefed out Suzuka. I mean, you also have one, so I'm assuming
Yeah, for the
I
most
don't know if you
part.
tried. Yeah, like she loops on neutral with Black Grill,
Yeah,
I guess.
she's pretty secure with triple Scotty and double Scotty if you're going with the 50% C on casters.
I see. I see.
Um, I I've tried her on. I've tried to make her triple Scotty on like neutral or less, and it's very close if it's there at all. Like the node that I've been using her against a lot is that Summer Ibaraki one
Ah,
on the Paper Moon, and that's like high HP, 2 berserkers and a saber, and that's just like the worst conditions that you can have for a quick looper.
yeah.
That is still a 3-3x. Remember to drink. Thank you for the reminder. Alright. Thank you for the drink reminder, sir. I forgot what I was talking about. Okay. So even though she can't triple Scotty there, because she ends up with like 41% refund on wave 1, if you do double Scotty Oberon, she's pretty secure. And like if she's able to do that, like less than favorable with double Scotty and Oberon on a Black Grail, then wait, hold on. Okay. I'm mixing it up. I had to use a 50% C. Okay, it's not that great. But hey, like 50% CE and you're able to do that, like she's got really good damage mods. I feel like that's a really strong selling point for her still. Like even though her
Yeah.
refund is a little shaky at times, it's just yeah. How necessary is Summer Scotty if you already have her and have OG Scotty? She's not really necessary, but like for most of the reasons a person would use Caster Scotty, Ruler Scotty is better.
Yeah.
But like they're
For looping.
yeah, for the most part they're really replaceable. But like if you have certain servants that prefer her, like if you're a Zhang Yu fan or a Summer Say fan, then Ruler Scotty is a pretty good investment just because she gives them so much more than normal Scotty.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely depends on your roster, in my opinion. I do use Summer Scotty sometimes for min turns just because she's a 100% buster crit booster with a 50 MP battery. Like, sometimes I just can't afford to use Merlin, so I just use her instead. But that's really like min turn stuff. I'm not sure if it's that relevant for normal clears. And of course, she's gonna help with looping for certain servants, but depends on if you have it
Something
and if you care about.
yeah, something I've seen most people take issue with is her cooldowns, which I do understand that because it's like 667 or 677,
Yeah.
and that can be a bit annoying. But like, if I so when I do a setup with her, I have her as like the main support. Then I have a second support. Hold on, let me just switch it over like that. I have a second support that is the one that I'm gonna try to get cycled out, like maybe their taunter or whatever. And I'll give Summer Scotty 2030, so she's always doing something. Like even if she has no skills up, she's still making stars. And then there's only gonna be like 2 turns of downtime if I use Atlas. That's usually what I'll end up doing. It's just like people kind of underestimate how much you can get done with with their buffs. Like she gives you so much damage, and you get really reliable Stargen because you're probably using a quick servant, and then you got stars per turn,
And
and
she's a ruler, so she doesn't die
yeah,
most of the time.
yeah,
So,
and you don't have to invest in keeping her alive. You can just invest in keeping the main DPS alive, and she'll probably just tank an AoE and P. It's a really nice thing about her being a support, being a ruler, and it's just why ruler is a pretty good class for supporters. Some people want servants like supports to die off faster, even though that's like it's yeah, like
esports, baby.
yeah, dude. Like I really want this character to die sooner so I can maybe win faster.
Yes.
Oh yeah, and
Oh
huge
boy, I forgot to mention this in Berker.
Berker.
She's bad at min turns because she protects the esports servants
Yeah,
with her MP. It's
yeah.
absolutely horrendous. E tier. Get the hell out of my face. Anyways.
It's sort of. I mean, it's not as. Okay, yeah, it's worse than Kentoki's though, right? Because Kentoki is a competitor and he stuns the enemy.
Yeah. Well, Kentucky just farms, and
Yeah,
I
he
think
doesn't do much.
I think somebody brought up like a comparison because when we talk about like when people talk about Berker's multi-core, they're like, she's not gonna beat Kentucky, which is actually kind of fair. I think she needs to hit like double anti-trade to do Kentucky damage, which is kind of yeah, because I mean it's Kentucky. You can't compare things to the ceiling. He's the ceiling, all right. Like you can't compare everything to the ceiling. Sorry, sidetracking. But
Yeah. Also, arts in general is just better for multi-core, because there's so many art servants that give you team-wide charge and stuff. Like there's Casgil, there's Tez, there's Castoria. She gives you 50% and 30%.
Castoria is a big one.
And then this Castoria also gives you 20% more. Man, we got sidetracked and we were talking about Summer Suzuka. So, yeah, quick looper here.
Yeah.
But yeah, her NP is like just so good here. It's only 30% anti-lawful. I feel like it could have been a 3-turn buff for like it only being 30%, but it's fine. Pierce Invuln on the NP, and considering how she spams her NP so well, like you're always doing damage. You're basically always doing damage. And then she has anti-earth, which never seen that. Yeah, a very unique thing she got there.
It's the 20th one this year, bro. It feels like the 20th is anti-earth this year. I can't take this anymore.
There's so many of them. Why is there so much anti-earth?
Yeah, there's so many. It's ridiculous.
I guess one good thing about that though is she is Sky, unlike some anti-earth servants, so she gets a natural bonus and takes less damage from it. Whereas like Murasaki, for example, she's man, so she takes more damage from Earth, even though she does more damage to it.
Yeah, it's not like a full.
Whereas anti-neutral, Sei has anti-neutral. Archer Sei, and I think that's it. Yeah, because fuck people who don't have strong opinions. Anti-centrist over here.
I never replied. I have Oberon and Scotty just wanted. Depends on your your roster for certain. But I think like the good thing about rolling for someone like Scotty is that the MP level doesn't really matter. It's like for summer 7, if you're gonna one of the banners, I would say Scotty first, because if you have OG Merlin, you could probably skip. I don't know. Anyways, sidetracking. I bet.
It's fine. We're here to talk about stuff, and if people give us ammunition, who cares? It's more content.
Exactly. Free content. It's what we live for.
You're cutting out a bit again. I think. Yeah, dude.
Okay. Let me see if I can. How about now?
I mean, like, if you're speaking up, it's not as much of an issue. I think, if you turn up your mic sensitivity, on Discord, that is, like, is it, like, automatically checking it? Because
it is automatically checking. How about now?
You literally just cut out right when you said that. Still there?
Wait, which side is more sensitive? Oh, this side is more sensitive. To the left.
Yeah. To the left.
Oh,
to the
okay.
left.
All right. Well, I'm like negative 90 decibels now, so it should be better. I hope.
Yeah. Basically,
Alright.
basically what that does is it just makes it so quieter sounds will trigger the mic. So like,
I see.
I mean, generally it's not advisable, but like, hey, if you keep getting cut out because it's just annoying, then yeah.
Yeah. I hope nobody hears weird things in the background.
So yeah, Suzuka, 10 out of 10. I'd give her a higher score if it made sense.
10 out of 10? Are we rating them now? I mean,
yeah, I guess so. Why not?
I would have given her a 10 out of 10 if the 30 battery was also targetable with the cooldown reduction, because I would really like her to be a support, because like she'd be better than Summer Ibuki for this type of stuff if the battery was also targetable. But unfortunately it isn't, but I still think she's like a good option, especially if you're running another Summer Servant that does need a cooldown reduction. Which, you know, unfortunately though, Arc isn't a Summer Servant. I do think a lot of people are trying to look for that cooldown reduction character for Arc to plug in to add that little bit of damage.
You know who who is Summer Servant though? Ascension.
Tonalico?
Yeah, Ascension 3 Tonalico.
Yeah.
And
the Summer Warren.
Yeah, something I was doing for farming on the summer event, I was borrowing your Tonalico, and then I was using my own Darkfetch and Suzuka, and it's 0% for all three of them. Like I ended up with 50% extra charge on Suzuka because she can cooldown reduce.
Right?
I'm sorry?
She gets buffed by Coin Dark second skill. She's animal trait, right?
No.
She's not.
Bruh. I don't know what's wrong with her, man. I keep telling you guys, she's just racist.
She doesn't like Suzuka, I guess. Damn.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Suzuka is fake. She's not normally a fox girl. It's just she. She
and then she also counts cheeky with the stupid bunny ears.
Yeah, exactly.
So
maybe it's because maybe it's furries, like people who like pretending to be animals. That doesn't make sense either, because that's literally what Suzuka is doing.
Her skill 2 is just full of shit. I don't understand. Like I want them to. I know it's a flavor thing. They should just remove the restriction. Like who cares? Like come on. It's so stupid. Or just let her first skill or something give animal trait. Or
Dude.
let her the second skill target someone and give animal trait. I don't know.
Yeah. Let the second skill make one servant animal trait. That's
Why not?
all it takes.
and reduces cooldown by 1. Like, I don't understand. Whatever. I'm still salty about the Summer Abbey buff. I know it's a okay buff, but like, come on.
Are we gonna cover Summer Mave too? Yeah, I'll get to Nocneria at the very end.
Yep.
All right. So next up, hold on.
Let Tyra add Genji trades. That's 100% extra damage. We ain't letting that happen, dude. They already let that happen with Draco's stupid anti-Roman. We're not gonna do that to Genji. That's this is not gonna happen.
Yeah, plus 200% for free. It's balanced.
Oh yeah, it's 200%. It's not 100%. Wait, is it 100% or 200%?
I want to say it's 200%. I'm not sure.
Oh my god, I forgot, dude. I solo with Tyra every day, and okay, not anymore, but I never solo an actual Genji with her because it just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Look at it.
So up next,
it is 200%. All right, ain't no way. All right, 200% free. No, get out of here.
Yeah, imagine a command code that makes them Genji for 1 hit.
That is still gonna be so broken. It's MP afterwards. Oh boy. 200% extra damage.
So our next one is a bit more controversial, I would say. I got Chloe over here.
I think she's overrated, but we'll get into that later.
I think she's overrated too. Someone who is apparently worth ditching and basically risking getting your own Discord server banned over. Yeah, shout out to someone who made a Twitter post the other day. Anyways.
No, let's not talk about the...
Yeah, we're not gonna... Yeah, let's not talk about that. I mean, it's not really drama, but... Yeah.
It's just so funny how he's so blatant about it, man.
Yeah, dude, like, you're gonna get your Discord server banned. Like, not safe for work of lowly characters is just against terms of service.
Amazing. No,
his server hasn't been banned yet. I'm not gonna name names. So, not BlueStacks.
Don't report it. Uh-oh.
I'm not gonna encourage people to report it, but I won't cry if it does get reported. Anyways, so here's Chloe. Quick deck, which is first one we've seen on an Avenger. She's single target quick. Her quick cards are actually pretty decent. It's 3.5%. And then she's got these are actually pretty similar. Like, her arts card is on par with Summer Scath. Because I think she also has 0.71%. But her quick cards are substantially better. So, no one cares about that, though. Like, let's be honest. No one ever talks about her DPSing. So her first skill is really interesting. It's very unique, and that is her third skill. I guess when I opened up this page, it already had it there, because I looked at the page a couple days ago and just opened up that one. So, 20% attack for the whole team, 20% crit for the whole team, 3 turns each. And she also, I completely butchered the explanation of this, because if you try to read this in Atlas, it is just painful interpreting it. So, for every target you hit, you get a trait. So if you're AoE and you hit 3 targets, you'll get 3 at once. But you'll get these traits which don't do anything yet. And then also it does something for her NP, which no one cares about still. But she also gets 10% crit while using quick cards for herself, which is another thing that people don't care about.
I think they should care about it more, honestly.
Yeah, I think she has some interesting potential as like a sideline DPS, but
yeah, she can do one thing that no other DPS can do in the game.
Yeah, which is leave.
Yes, she can leave.
Well, the thing about that though is, like, if you want a DPS that can leave, like if you want someone to come in, nuke, and just ditch everyone, then, well, you gotta have a Trot there. She's gonna do more while she's around.
Oh no, that's not what I meant. She can do a thing where, for example, this challenge quest, right? Obviously, I'm a little bit min-turn brain rot, but this challenge quest has a gimmick where if you force break Nognaria, she has a 500% buff removal on your entire team, right? So you can't use like Santa Gale to mitigate it, but Chloe can dip after the turn,
Yeah,
so she doesn't get hit by it. So if you don't have now,
that's true.
you have to like have no backline, which is kind of annoying. But if you don't have it, I think you can have like one backline because depending on if somebody dies on that turn, right? But you might have to run no backline. But depending on the situation, she can actually dodge things. She doesn't care. Like she can leave and then come back the next turn, and she has all her buffs still on herself. She's untouched. She dodged an MP and she's back. So this is one very interesting thing she can do as a DPS, but that's about it. I don't. Yeah, it's just.
If you do double Chloe and Habitron, can you have the enemy just not attack at all and just do the same thing?
I tested that out. Chloe cannot leave if she's the only one left on the field. So her second skill just fails if she's the only one left on the field. Because I tried double Chloe and a Crane, or double Crane and a Chloe, and she just cannot escape if she's the last one on the field to leave. She's forced to be stuck on the front line, which is unfortunate. No memes where you can like completely evade everything. I thought that would have been a cool video, but it doesn't work.
Yeah. Then last up, we've got the third skill, which is 20% team NP damage, which, like, I mean, 20% attack, 20% NP damage. It's a little something. She doesn't have a lot on offensive buffs, although it is. I mean, you can plug her out immediately. By the way, I don't know if we even went over this. Did we?
No, we didn't. I cut you off with the dodge thing.
Yeah. So this skill, it makes it so so she targets guts on someone. She can target on herself, and she, at the end of the action turn, so before the enemy attacks, she just leaves and goes to the back like Miss Crane does. So it's a pretty cool thing that she can do. And because of it, it's a free plug, so you can get another servant in without having to kill someone like normal. So neat stuff. And then we got this, and referring back to the traits on the first skill, for each one of those you have, everyone gets 10%. Like, if a servant has 2 of them, that servant gets 20%. It's only for that one servant, though. But it will affect all of the team if all of the team has their own individual ones. Yeah, basically. So, what that means is, in an AoE situation, if one servant uses an AoE NP and there's 3 enemies out on the field, then bam, you can get 30% charge on turn 2. Something I saw someone mention, a certain Game Press review, that is, they mentioned that she is a 50% plus charger if you're in a farming quest. But the thing about that is, if you're trying to get over 50% from her, you're just completely neglecting one of the best things about her, which is her plug. So,
but how do you do 50%? Do you card NP, or do you double Chloe?
I'm not entirely sure. They said 50% plus. They were probably just looking at this and it's like, okay, 5 times, so up to 50%. And then it can affect the rest of the team.
That's not how it works, dude. Look. Oh,
it wouldn't be the first time that particular reviewer made just blatant errors in figuring out how the game works.
Oh, Game Press, amazing. It's just like how everybody got how her Bonsi worked wrong.
Yeah.
And then like Rio from the server, he forced spawn farmed her to 10 and got very disappointed when it didn't work like how it was supposed to work.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my god.
It's so hilarious that he tries so hard convince people that he isn't a lolicon, then within 2 days he unlocks Alola's Bonsi.
Well, it is for testing, but yeah, it's
Like, he spent money to do that.
yeah. Well, you know, he's there to prove like half of the reviewers wrong because they got how it worked wrong. So it's pretty funny though.
Okay, so if I recall correctly, what it is it just gives everyone that's on the field right now that buff once, but it doesn't give them once every turn, like people think.
No, it gives. So people thought either it gives once every turn or it gives 3. For some reason, I don't know what kind of wording, because I guess it's 3 times. So what it actually does is whenever she enters the field, she gives 1 to everyone. So if you do some weird shenanigans and you plug her back in, she gives everyone another stack. So you can do it repeatedly like 3 times, but it's not gonna happen during farming.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh boy, you get that plus 10%. I mean, the good thing is if you use that on the Arash setup, which people like talking about as if it is very viable and not very, very specific what you need. Yeah, because like Arash is free, but like then Oberon and whatever 50%
Nothing
charger
else
are not.
is free.
Yeah, nothing
Literally
else is free.
nothing else is free.
But
yeah.
hey, at least you can 6 slot. It's better than other Chloe setups.
True. There's a cost issue.
But yeah, I mean, the one thing about that setup is you have to have an Arash card on turn 1 or 2, if I recall correctly. Maybe it's just on turn 2. Turn 1 you get one of his cards, because you gotta get 1 more stack to be able to do the 70%.
Ah, that sucks.
But
it's 40, right?
But yeah, if you're running a Bonsi, which means you're minus 1 slot, then you don't have to worry about that card RNG. Because you get plus 1 that way. Yes, if you bring a Bonsi, someone's Bonsi that does exactly one little thing that is only anti-RNG, then perfect. So yeah, it's really... I think her gameplay is really cool. I just don't think she's broken like people think she is.
Yep.
I can't help but feel like a lot of the people that are hyping her up a lot are... I don't know, maybe it's this mentality I've gotten into, but I think a lot of them AJP. I think a lot of them are NA players that see shit happen in their favorite content creators' videos, and they assume that since they are doing it, it is more something than it is, but it's not.
I'm also partially at fault there, because I was like, oh my god, you can run Black Girl on Cool Con, and she can do like 80 million damage on last wave. Like, who cares, right? 8 million.
Yay. I can do like, 8 million damage on this free quest that I can multi-core on and get
and
6
you're
slot.
also sacrificing damage on the second wave because you're doing Oberon's buff on the second wave instead of a second Koyan Sky. So like, you know, it's just very much a meme. Like it's very flashy for video content, but it's not really that practical. You also don't have the cost to 6 slot, and yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, dude. Like you can just give Cuckoo a 50% CE, and you'll probably have more team cost at the end than using Chloe specifically, because that's another one you specifically need to do that setup. Yeah. And she's probably going to do enough damage anyways, so why bother with Chloe?
Yeah. For example, you try to farm this 90++ from this event with Summer Chloe. You're with like single core Buster Summer Chloe. They're not going to kill wave 2, right? Like it's just. And also, I mean, obviously the damage C has 50 MP start C, so it's just completely pointless as well. So,
it's very, very overhyped. But her NP, like it does some not supporty things. Basically, it's sort of like Bunyan's thing. It doesn't specify it, but I'm pretty sure it is referring to the amount she has, right? Or is it how much the team has? Because
I actually don't know. I'm actually not sure about this.
Yeah, I think I think it would be pretty cool if it's for like how many the team has. but it's kind of awkward because you get rid of those with her third skill.
Yeah, you have to choose between if you want charge or if you want extra damage on her MP,
Yeah, I
which
guess
is a bit annoying.
it's kind of a King Protea thing going on there. Although I feel
Yeah.
like King Protea is better at base because she's like omega tanky.
Just doesn't you just don't use that. I feel like you never use that skill. You just suicide if you use that skill with King Protea. That I don't know. That's
Yeah.
just how I feel.
I mean, if you get really low on HP and you don't have your NP, then like might as well.
Yeah.
Henshin,
Like,
I think I've seen that comment.
She's like a fine like third, like not third. She's like a fine like replacement if you're lacking like one of the meta supports maybe, but I don't know. It's just
Am I? Okay. I think it's better now.
Yeah. So like I don't know. She's just a nice little like plug-in character to boost your damage. In challenge quests, she's gonna act like a mini crane. Like sometimes I don't want to use crane's MP for damage, and this is a good like replacement. Like for a lot of challenge quests, min turns, I use her. I plug her out on the first turn. I just don't take advantage of the charge at all. I just use her buffs and tell her to get out of here. All right, so she's still a decent option. I just don't think she's like the buster savior. I've already stopped seeing people talk about it because like I bet people started trying it out and they're like, oh shit, this actually doesn't work. So they just dropped it. Right. So.
It got clickbaited and then there was nothing behind the clickbait apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Even then, like, okay, so that sort of leads into another thing. So challenge quest application versus farming application. I see like most of her usefulness in farming. I don't see her useful in challenge quests unless you're specifically buff stacking, because I don't really see her like. So if you're in a challenge quest, you're going to have access to your own cards. So like a couple, like 20 or 30% here isn't going to make as much of a difference as it is in farming. And
so,
then
okay. Her challenge quest application is literally only for min turns and only for min turn comps where when the enemy can't kill your esports character, so you're forced to use someone like Crane, but you also want to Brave Chain and you don't want to use Crane's MP, so you use her. Like it's like
it's so specific.
It's like if you want to do this but also don't want to do this, and if you want to do this but also want to do, and then she will suddenly become an option because she still has a sizable, I would say, not really she has like an okay amount of buffs, or if you need guts, I guess like she can also be a good like guts giver, but then most of the time you just use Santa Gale because Santa Gale
that's actually what I was gonna talk about. Like, if you look at the things she offers, once you take away the plug and once you take away the battery, she is just an objectively worse version of Santa Gale. Like, hold on, let me pull it up real quick. Like, you look at the two of them, like, Chloe gives you 20% crit, 20% attack, 20% NP damage. Santa Gale gives you 30% crit, 20% attack, and 30% NP damage. She also gives them guts 1 time 3 turns, although it is a little less. It doesn't always matter, though. And then she gives them buff removal resist, and removes a buff, removes a debuff, gives them HP. She just has so much more going on for a support. I just don't really see a reason to use, assuming the plug isn't like super necessary, because like I can just give a taunt to her. Like I've got outrage. She doesn't have a ton of HP. I just don't really see a reason to use her over there.
I mean, if Santa Gale can't die, which does happen. And also,
and then there's that.
I think Chloe definitely is going to be, because the most interesting stuff I've seen people do with her is with the dodge. Like she was able to do a fight against Demonic Bodhisattva where like she does like a full like buff removal and kills her entire wave MP at the first turn after she turns big, and she's able to dodge it. I think her dodge is, in my opinion, the most interesting part about her. where she's able to, because Crane isn't a DPS, so she was able to dodge, but she can't really do much with it. But Chloe can actually take advantage of it as a single target damage dealer. So I do think it's very interesting, and also you can use her as, if you have her at high MP, which is not very easy to do. But if you do have her at high MP for some reason, well, okay, I didn't mean to refer to you, but you can use her as you can use her as a single target in multi-core where she kills herself, right? Not kills herself, she just leaves the field, right? So there's definitely still very cool applications of this character. I just don't think she's like the savior of looping or whatever people are trying to call.
Honestly, people are out there talking about how Buster can now 0% because of her. Like, I feel like she's more impactful for Quick, if anything. Because Quick just doesn't have as many options.
Yeah, and you don't, like, with Quick, you're just making up for missing refund instead of, specifically, making up for missing numbers. So you don't necessarily have the issue with Buster where, like, oh, I have to start with 3 enemies. Like, for Buster, it's just, if I'm missing 30, I'm missing 30. So I need exactly 30 on the second wave, right? So with Chloe, obviously I can do it, but I also need 3 enemies on the first wave, or I need her bouncy, or I need to use a card or whatever. So, but with Quick, some characters are just missing like 20 or missing, like 10, for example. So there's more freedom with Chloe to make up for refund compared to if you want to do something where you're making up for specific number, number shortages in Buster looping, I suppose. I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, too, like one of the easiest ways to fix a problem for Quick, like if they're not able to loop something, just give them a craft essence with more charge. Because these days the standard is 50% for them. If that's not enough, go with 100% or 80%, whatever. And
people like Black Girl. What can I say?
Yeah. Yeah, and then, like, if the other option is forcing a 4-star into your setup that you don't care about the bond of, and is also going to kick out some of that CE freedom, then why bother with that? Why not just do the same thing you were going to do before, but with a different DPS CE?
Yeah. I think the ordeal called Mystic Code is a plug suit with a 30 MP charge, right?
It's plug suit with 10% charge.
Only 10? Oh, that's odd. Well, anyways.
Yeah, it was enough for Buster looping. Like for everyone to Buster loop, because you could put Oberon on the front instead of in the back.
Oh yeah, true.
Do the same thing. Yeah, the same thing that Tiamat looping does.
So yeah, this is what she is, right? She's that plug suit, but she takes up a character slot for a lot of people. Well,
yeah, but you see, like, if you want that, and why not just go with Habitrot? Like,
yeah,
Habitrot,
a lot of
you can even have Habitrot clear wave. Even if that's not the case, you can have her die off, and then like she has whatever craft essence. Yeah, like why go with Chloe's Bonsi if you could just use Habitrot with Camlon?
Yeah, a lot of people are arguing this as well, which is like, why don't you just use Arash Wave 1 or Habitrot Wave 1, and instead of wanting to specifically loop 3 times with your Buster damage dealer, when if you're able to do like Wave 1, it's essentially just
I'm telling you, man.
It's the exact same thing. You're just missing the damage.
I'm telling you, man, all these single core fetishes are just so annoying.
It's funny, right? Like it's funny when you can make a video about someone looping with a black grill single core, right? Like I think I made like the epitome of that, where I was able to loop with Summer Babanshi with black grill with like double Chloe. It's like 6 specific teammates that she has to go with, but when you do that, you can loop with her using a black grill, which is like it's very stupid and practical, but it's funny. But I do think people have to realize, because I thought there was no harm to it, but then I'm hearing people are like, oh, I'm dumping everything into the first banner just to get a Chloe, which in my opinion I don't think it's that worth it if you're not into like min turning stuff and doing a lot of fancy crap. She's just not that actually necessary, to be honest. Unfortunately, I saw someone on like a Taiwanese forum say, oh, don't start your account if you didn't pull summer. Like, dude, fuck, Jesus Christ, dude. And he's the guy who makes the looping like lists for the Taiwanese forum. So he has like major like stage 4 brain rot for like single core looping. I guess that's why
Oh,
he's so
dude.
he thinks his character is like so necessary. She's like the next like Castoria that everyone should have. But anyways, I don't know. She's definitely not that in my opinion.
Yeah. Just overhyped. I'd say like 6 or 7 out of 10 because there is a lot of novelty there and a lot of interesting stuff you can enable. It's just like there's so many. There's people are acting like there aren't alternatives to what she does, but there are.
Yeah.
Like the times you need the things that she offers, it's just not really that common. But if you want to she has a lot of room for creativity where like you can do interesting, fun things on your own. It's just
Which is what the theme is for this year's 4-star, which
Yeah.
I very much enjoy.
Yeah.
I very much
I like that. I like that they didn't make a bunch of side grades.
Yeah, that's very boring when they made a bunch of side grades. Like we want more of this and not Summer Gareth. Like I'm sorry, no offense, but Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you mean? We haven't gotten Summer Gareth yet. Are you spoiling
true.
something next year?
True, she is the next year's welfare. You're right, man.
Yeah. All right. So speaking of 5 stars, okay. Once again, I was not quite prepared ahead of time, but I guess to some extent I am prepared ahead of time because I had to take special precautions with this next one. There.
Most of ours should be fine. It's literally just that one image.
So here's Smelusine.
Come on. She's not that naked, is she?
I don't want to risk anything, man.
Sure. I mean,
it gets the point across. You know who it is.
Yeah.
I mean, like, hey, if they're censoring it on Discord, then hey, I'll censor it too. I don't want to get demonetized because of this. Should I even say child? I don't know. That provokes some. This child-appearing individual. Yeah. Let's go with that.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, she's possibly the least interesting servant of this campaign, of this entire summer. Not saying she's bad, like, it's just, she hits a lot of the boxes that are just really good stuff, but just not, like, super interesting, not game-breaking or anything. No, she did not kill Summer Ibuki.
No. Like, Berserker is just too good of a class. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Ruler's a really good class, too. Like, defensively, if you factor in her defensive, like, I'd say she's generally better than Ibuki in challenge quests. But
yeah.
if we're talking farming, then yeah, not groundbreaking.
Nope.
So yeah, immediately want to point out that they nerfed her gain. Like, she has 1.26% arts cards, and the norm for Buster cards, it's like 1.6, 1.7.
Yep. Well, her MP's 5 hits. So.
Yeah. But yeah, her first skill is pretty standard. 3 turn 30% arts, 3 turn 30% crit, 3 turn 30% chaotic, and then the team, except herself, gets 1,000 damage cut for 3 turns, and 1,000 damage cut for 3 turns. Like, we saw that on another AoE arts ruler earlier this year. How good that can be.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've gotten too many AoE arts rulers, dude.
It applies to herself though, and also Pope Joan is a pure support minus her MP.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that is true.
I don't get this. Like, I think they nerfed the numbers for some reason for Smelusine. Like, yeah, in total her numbers are still like really insane, but the anti-chaotic should have been 50 or something. I don't know.
I think she's okay. I don't think she needs the extra numbers, honestly.
But she doesn't. But you know, she's Melusine, so that's sort of a trend there to like go overboard. But
Yeah, but
eh,
part of the huge thing about Lancer Mellow is just the ramp up. Like she ramps up
yeah,
to a ridiculous extent, and we do still see
this one does
some
as well. Yeah, exactly.
some good ramp up. Not yeah, we definitely saw some good rate up the other day.
Oh man,
Oh, dude.
amazing.
Waterside or airspace? Airspace. Is that just a new field? And does because I don't remember anyone like applying it.
I think it is a new one. That is only her. Yeah.
I guess there are some maps that are like up in the air. Does that like apply to Lost Belt tree fights? Not that it
I
really
don't
matters
know.
because they're all behind us.
Honestly, I don't know. It doesn't even list out what our airspace is in the
Yeah.
wiki.
I guess you can look it up on Atlas, but no reason to look that up right now. It's not that important. But yeah, she's got the absorb for 3 turns, although it's a lot weaker of an absorb. It's still enough
She's a
because she,
ruler.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I mean, like she's got saber absorb because she's a ruler, and it's see that's gonna put her up at like 600 absorb. I think 612. No, it's something like that. Whereas the Lancer one has like over 3,000 absorb with this skill up. But it's basically just an upgrade outside of the weaker absorption. Gets stars per turn, gets stars. It's the same proportions, but she gets like triple that if she's on those battlefields. Yeah, it's the same thing that Summer Canis has. And I don't know why Summer Canis has the absorb on her 3rd skill though.
Mm.
Hey, Ethereal, thank you for the raid. Notifications are off because we're doing a podcast right now, but muchly appreciate it. Hope you guys were having a good time over there. Just
Welcome, welcome.
recording a podcast. Yeah, she's already a writer. That's exactly why I feel like the absorb is kind of overkill.
Yep.
And then she's got this skill, which is not the same thing, although there are some similarities. It's like they merged some of the special, some of the less special things about it and removed the most special thing. Because it's 80% charged now, so like if you don't want to wait until Bond 6, then you have to roll for NP2 just to get that append. You need that append to be able to use her right. Or you can use Castor's 2nd skill, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, you can actually use Castor as 2nd skill, honestly.
Yeah, either one. Just instantly NP. Yeah, 80% battery on a server that can already reliably art sleep with Black Crow. Very necessary.
Yeah, it's a bit overkill, but you know,
Yeah.
it is Melusine, so she has to be overkill.
Yep. And then we get I really like this too. 20% attack for 3 turns on every NP and 30% crit for every NP. So she ramps up her crit damage a lot. And then she's already got absorb and stars per turn, so she's just got a lot of damage going on. And then she also has the anti-earth, because fucking why not? Like, hey,
Attack up is really good. I like attack up better than if had it been arts up, because the refund's already overkill anyways. So
yeah.
I appreciate the attack up.
Single core fetishist ruling NP5 on the earth. Hello. I don't like single core fetishism, but I do have a super Sabuki.
Yep, happens. Well, you know, she's fine.
If
She's good.
if
She's
I can help it, I won't use single core. Like if I'm doing 90++, I'll try to work in another servant, because usually it's less button presses anyways.
And now more bond, because if you don't run like a support on your front line,
Yeah.
you get more bond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of a boring kit. It's like she's really strong. She apparently has the highest attack out of rulers, which is pretty nice because she's got the 10% mod that
Yeah.
all rulers get. But
She has really
it's
good damage.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
But
got good
comparable
damage.
to
It's just
some
like
Avengers.
she's probably the least interesting thing in this summer event. It's between her and Suzuka, although I do like I mean Suzuka is an AoE quick looper like that. That's already uh I feel like that's already kind of more unique than an AoE arts looper.
Oh, never mind. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, she's a good one. She also has cooldown reduction. I do like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um.
Yeah, cooldown reduction is always a cool effect.
Oh wow, Summer
Cool.
Melusine, highest MP damage in the game. Actually no, she loses to Karen, but you know it's expected. Does she lose to Karen? Hold on.
I guess I can actually pull this up. I have
Yeah,
the
she does. She does lose to Karen. But you know, obviously,
uh
it's before she uses it 3 times, right? Because she ramps up, and Karen has an upgrade MP, so you know it's to be expected.
yeah. Yep. Well,
Yeah, but
I give her hmm, gameplay a 10 out of 10 because she's definitely going to stomp anything like you throw her against. But like she doesn't really have much any utility. It's just offensive stuff and defensive stuff, and I'll say a 9 out of 10 because she gets points off for just being boring.
yeah, like I just checked. I mean, obviously this is not factoring in you know, buff stacking with supports. Her MP does more than Space Ishtar.
Dang.
Yeah, think about it.
Yeah.
Just think about it. It is stupid, right? It's a ruler and does more than the Avenger. All right, like this shouldn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah, why even use the Avenger? Like, like, honestly, like, if Fishtar couldn't loop as good as she does, she would, oh my god, she would be reviled.
Yep.
It's like, she's got just a really boring kit in general. Like, she doesn't, she has her, she has a self-invuln, it's one hit. It's
I think the
just,
stream is bleeding into your mic a little bit.
oh, it's bleeding in,
I can hear like the background music and myself a little bit through your mic.
okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's, problem with that headset. I wish I could just, I don't know, I could nah, I shouldn't, nah.
Does she do more after Oberon double MPing damage? But I don't know. I'd imagine not. It'd be pretty sad if she still does more. But maybe with Black Grill, just because of, you know, you want different buff types.
Yeah. I
So,
do have this looping sheet up here. I don't feel like it really matters that much. I don't wanna praise the sheet too much.
This is the last step before we become true wiki readers.
Yeah.
We have to...
Yeah, that's the end game of a wiki reader, becoming a spreadsheet reader as well.
Yeah, but this is the final form.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So I've had my fun talking about my favorite servant from this event, and now you get to talk about your favorite servant from the event. So help.
I mean, I just talked about it for 20 minutes in a video.
Yeah, but like maybe people didn't see that video, so we can just sit here and chat for it for like an hour now.
True, that is fair though. All right. Well, this character is very interesting, and if you only care about farming, she's useless. Well, I mean, not completely useless. But yeah, Summer Bavanshi, very interesting character. Certainly, in my opinion, one of the most interestingly designed characters in terms of gameplay. Yeah, she's a very slow burn stall type character. Let's get into her skills first, I guess. Before we.
All right, that was Bawan C. Thank you for talking so much about her.
Yeah.
That was I learned a lot today. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know where you want to start, but I'll let you take the lead here.
Oh, first skill? Alright. So, the first skill is already Oh, we can actually. I don't know. Okay, I have a less good grasp about how good face cards are in terms of refund than a
Ah,
lot of other people. But I'd say her cards are okay. It's nothing too amazing. It's just okay. It's serviceable when you do mighty chains with her, and that's all you do with her. Anyways, so
it's a little
I
bit
don't know.
above average for a Buster Arts deck.
Yeah, it's like okay. I have to say it's like okay.
Yeah.
But yeah. First skill already kind of really interesting. 3 turns, 20%, kind of lame. 7 turn cooldown, but that's obviously not the point of the skill. The point of the skill is extending the buff duration. So this gets pretty stupid when you get to stack it. When you do double, it does +6. It's not any type of buff. You can't buff block it. It literally just adds 3 to the number of the duration, right? So pairs really well with any sort of stall units that are good staples, healers like Merlin, Asclepius, Hans, whatever. Right. So really interesting effect. I think the dot extension is pretty lame. Like it's not nearly as good as I thought it was gonna be because it doesn't extend the buff amplification debuffs as the dot amplification debuffs as well. So usually are just left with a bunch of base dot, which who cares? Um, so you got anything to add? I don't know.
Mm. I mean, I do like dot gameplay, so like throwing the I could see some potential with her in like shooting, for example. That could be
Yeah,
a bit of fun. Uh,
it's good with like big base dot numbers and not like big like a lot of amplification. I'd say I guess
yeah, did you see that one Twitter post that person did where they
1 million.
SQ? Yeah, it was like over 5 million
Was
dot
5
damage.
million,
Yeah,
bro?
it's like
The
5 point.
one I saw was only 1 million. I guess he broke his own
Yeah,
record.
dude, he spent like over 50 SQ doing resets. But basically, what just to give context, what he was doing, he had a front line with Himiko, double shooting, like all low levels, and they NP chain immediately. And they apply a bunch of a lot of poison to the. It was one of the whales from
Oh
the
yeah, of course.
imaginary.
Imaginary scramble.
Yeah, yeah, and then the backline has Bob and a couple other debuffers, I think, and like each of them die in like 1 turn each. But whenever you do a full revive, everyone gets their NP back completely, and everyone gets their skills back. So, so every 2 turns, he extended
Oh
all the
my
debuffs by 3.
god. I was like, how the hell did he
Yeah,
get the cooldown? He kills the entire team.
yeah,
That's
dude, dude,
Jesus Christ.
it's pay to win, man. See, I saw that for a second and I was like kind of panicked because I was like, "Oh no, I have been thoroughly dethroned by a huge margin." Because like to the best of my knowledge, I had the crown when it comes to most dot damage in 1 turn at
Oh,
1.5
with
million.
the with
Yeah,
Tai Sui.
yeah. But he used like a bunch of SQ, so I feel like that kind of
Oh, it's a bit different,
dulls the victory there.
right? Yeah. Well, the regen buff extension is really good though.
Yeah.
Especially when you get to reduce this skill's cooldown, and this works with her own MP, so really fun. But yeah, good
I feel
effect.
like Yeah, I feel like she has some good synergy with Edison,
Yeah,
because he's
Edison.
got cooldown reduction, and then he's also got stars per turn and NP per turn. So I
Yeah.
feel like in that double Bob setup, I think that he might be one of the best options. Like it's gonna take a while to ramp up, but he actually kind of helps it move a little faster. I think you only need 1 cooldown reduction to keep everything going permanently, but he's also adding his own NP per turn for everyone, which means
Yeah.
eventually he's gonna be getting a lot per turn,
Well,
and
yeah,
that's like 30+% more attack down every time.
that is true. But
And also it means skill seal and NP seal, like basically permanently.
yeah. I do hope that his cooldown reduction was for the entire team though. I think he
Yeah.
can definitely have that. It's just
I don't know though.
it,
5-turn cooldown on like full team cooldown reduction. I feel like that'd be a bit much.
true. I mean, even if it doesn't apply to himself, it'd be a bit much, right? If you use
Yeah.
him with Tomomo. But yeah, the issue is if you get to like double cooldown reduce on the two skill ones, it's easier to like map out what kind of turns you want to do with that comp. But we'll get into that comp a bit later, I guess. But yeah, like
Yeah.
Edison, I tested with Edison. I think he's a bit slow for um for Beast 3L. But
He also
he
doesn't
can
really have
definitely
any survival for himself beyond the
yeah.
defense. Yeah, so he can eventually die. But I guess you can give him HP per turn before
Yeah.
that in the setup.
He the issue is he's not female, right? Like the easiest way to solve that problem is with Habertrot.
Are
Right?
you a girl?
Yeah, you're not a girl. Well, too bad you don't work with Habertrot, right? So it's kind of. But we'll talk a little bit about that comp later. We'll get into it, I guess. But
Yeah.
yeah, first skill is super cool.
Yeah, very
Lots of
unique
utility.
skill.
We've never seen this effect before, right?
You know, I forgot this skill had buff removal for a while.
Yeah,
This
it's
is a-
it's
yeah,
really
it's a
good.
really solid skill.
Yeah, it's really good. Um, and I also didn't notice that this is 2 turns.
Yeah, 2 turns.
The MP so this is like 2-turn MP seal on a 6-turn cooldown, right?
Yep.
So it's a lot. It slows down the enemy a lot in terms of how much they MP, right? It's a very good effect.
Yeah.
This also obviously increases debuff resistance, which is important for her MP effect. I do think landing the attack down is pretty important. I was doing a solo against the I haven't posted it yet, but I was doing a solo against the King Protea from the Detour quest with Bava, and she almost died because she missed one of the attack downs on her MP. So this certainly helps with her MP. And crit chance down, I think it's a bit overkill. Am I like living in my own world? I mean, crit chance down is good,
Eh,
but like
I mean,
when
it,
she has
I
cripple, on her
yeah,
MP,
I'd take 50% attack down over crit rate down, honestly,
yeah,
because it's basically the same thing.
yeah,
Because it like critting is doubling your damage, so if you're cutting it in half, it's either the same thing or better than crit down.
yeah. It's a bit overkill, but I guess it's good to like limit like the enemy has even lesser chance to like suddenly have damage that you don't expect to come out of nowhere. And then 30 MP battery is 30 MP battery. So yeah, this is a really good skill as well. Like
Yeah.
most people hyper focus on her first skill, but this is a very good skill to cripple your enemy and slow them down as well. If you like, once again, like I don't want to get too much into the comp because it's kind of spoilers, but if you run this with Tomo as well and you have 2 Bobs, you
Yeah,
you like
tons
space,
of reduction.
yeah, you space these out, they don't even get to MP like ever, which is kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess some people might not like that it's only one target when she's an AoE servant, but like hey,
True.
if you're soloing, you're probably gonna be soloing one target, so it doesn't make too big of a difference.
If this was AoE,
Oh, it would be
first
so
of all,
broken.
Kiara's second skill would look very crap.
Yeah.
And the cooldown would definitely be like at least 7, I would say, instead of 6, because
Yeah.
that's yeah.
Yeah, that would suck. So this is another weird skill.
Yep. I mean, I don't particularly like it. The gimmick as a whole is just very RNG, because its base effect kind of is not that amazing, right? It's
Yeah.
like 20% attack damage up for 3 turns, and it's a 15 star bomb, so it's not horrible, I'd say. But you know, the Reactivate Enshrined Deity, it's kind of hard to explain without looking at her passives, but it's basically like when she's on the field, whoever gets hit gets like a 1-turn crit buff that is only 10%, which is this status. And she checks that whether the team has this status on them, and if the teammate has the status on them, the secondary effect will trigger, which is 20% extra MP damage up and 20 MP charge. So this doesn't trigger in farming at all. You know, it has to be a physical hit on your teammate. So, you know, taking damage from Black Grail doesn't count. A lot of that stuff doesn't count. So This doesn't trigger in farming, and it's kind of inconsistent. Uh, Depending on what you're fighting. Like there's some enemies that do AoE attacks, and suddenly this is a really good skill. But in general, it's kind of annoying. It's good in solos though, I'd say. For 40% MP damage up and 20% battery on a 6-turn cooldown is pretty good because in
Yeah.
solos it's essentially guaranteed, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's I guess it really benefits from being up against an AoE boss, because that way
Yeah,
you're always getting guaranteed all of these.
yeah. This is really good against the AoE boss. It's like an AoE 20% battery and AoE 40% MP damage up, right? So
Yeah.
it's really good. It's really good.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, never mind. I was about to ask, wait, this applies to herself too? Yeah, I know that this applies to herself, so yeah, no reason to say that.
Yep.
And she's got EX magic resist, which is it's always really nice.
Yeah, it carries over from her archer version, which is I like it a lot
Yeah.
personally. It is still RNG, but it's a quarter. It's like 20. Okay, it's not a quarter of the time because people also have debuff chance up or something, but like 25% is really good. 25% is like reasonably to expected to happen like every couple turns, right? So that's pretty much good enough for me most of the time. So I like this effect a lot.
Yeah, dude, the Yu-Gi-Oh text over here.
Yeah, that's a passive. Oh my, look at this passive. Jesus Christ.
It's as long as the first 3 passives combined.
Yeah. So she has this little cute thing. It's like very flavorful, because she's like a priestess in the first 2 ascensions, and she's like a fairy knight in the 3rd ascension. So she's more offensive in the 3rd ascension.
Isn't she
Um,
pretending to be Morgan in her 3rd ascension?
I mean, she's like Morgan's heir or something, and
Okay.
she's like a fairy knight.
I
I
guess
I think
that's
I think in the story she conquered her fear or something. I don't remember what fear she had. I remember what fear
it's
Bargess had.
definitely not Fear of Heights.
Yeah, but I don't know. I forgot. But yeah, this is really cool. Anti-man 20% anti-man critical damage up. Like
Yeah.
especially if you're not like if you don't have a lot of critical damage boost in your support roster, this actually scales pretty well. So once again, during solos, if you're fighting against man, it's pretty nuts. Um, but yeah, and
And she's like all of this, dude. Like
yeah,
there's so much text here.
I'm pretty sure if you're chaotic good on the team, you get 10%. Like these two are separate. So if you're chaotic good, you get both effects, which is pretty nice. And she herself is not chaotic good though. She's chaotic evil, so she gets like
Yeah.
5% passive MP gain up. And 4% in the 3rd ascension. I
Yeah.
actually think 1st and 2nd ascension are most of the times better, even though it's only 1% difference. But sometimes, like you really want to get her MP back. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. You
Yeah,
want to
if
use
you're
her MP as much
yeah,
as
if you're not against man enemies, like there's no reason to keep her in the first second. Unless you just like the fluffy.
no. Yeah, well,
Yep. In her
yeah,
3rd ascension, that's what I meant. I got it
yeah,
backwards. Yeah.
yeah. So like, it's fine. Like, it's a cool little gimmick. I don't think it majorly affects her gameplay. Like, you can essentially use anyone you want, and she'll probably function the exact same. It's just kind of a new, cool little flavor thing.
It's
And
kind
yeah,
of yeah, it's kind of funny. Melusine not only lost her NP swap gimmick to Bargas, she also lost the starting stage mattering to Bob.
yeah. Actually, that's kind of sad.
She
But
lost all of her uniqueness. Got
oh
divvied
well,
up to the rest of her ilk.
4-star peers happens, man. Sometimes.
Mm.
Yep.
And then, of course, already talked about the Wrath buff.
Yeah.
She has
It's not.
anti-berserker.
Yeah,
Love to
she has
see
it.
it.
They keep giving out anti-berserkers recently. They gave it to Durga, they gave it to Medusa, they gave it to Tonalico, so I don't know. That's pretty
It's
cool.
yeah, it's generally the best third append. There
Yep.
are some more niche examples where they already have resistance, but those are pretty rare.
Yeah. Also, I really like so the passive of the Wrath of the Enshrined Deity thing. Um, in a team, it really the buff itself really isn't anything. But when you're soloing, you get hit like two to three times every single turn on the same character because you're soloing. She's the only character. So this is another like 20 to 30% passive crit up, just when you're
Yeah.
soloing, and universal as well. So it's actually kind of crazy. Like if you're fighting against a man enemy solo, she has like passive 40 to 30%, 40 to 50% critical damage up.
Yeah.
It's just as a passive. It's kind of ridiculous, and she
Yeah.
doesn't have any other crit skills in her kit, so it does scale really well with
Yeah, and
her others.
she has no issues making a bunch of stars. On the
Yeah.
smaller end, it's worth noting that she has really high star gen because she's a pretender. That's not something everyone knows, but pretenders have some of the highest base star gen in the game. I think it's second to assassins. I know
think so.
lancers are pretty high up there too. But
Yeah.
yeah, 20% passive compared to the usual like 5%, 5% that a lot of them have.
Also, as if she needs more star gen, right?
Yeah, speaking of Sargent,
Is look at
With
this
the-
MP.
yeah, dude, she has like 8 effects on her NP. That is so nuts for a 4-star. But I get, they usually like try to go overboard on non-ruler extra classes effects.
Yeah, but this is still kind of
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I did
Yeah.
not remember she had anti-man for the longest time. I didn't know she had an anti-trait MP.
Yeah,
I
dude,
was like, why does she need an anti-trait MP? But
Yeah.
sure.
Summer Wu has the same thing. She had man attribute, but since I saw like 4 other effects, I was like, oh, I was so
yeah.
shocked to find out she still had anti-man.
Yeah, and it's surprisingly just a nice bonus compared, when we talk about the grand scheme of things. This MP is obviously really good. It's like a Merlin MP that it's only applies to herself. And only lasts 3 turns, but it does, you can extend it with her first skill, and it just kind of goes crazy in certain compositions. And the dot, once again, I'm not like too crazy about. Like obviously there are certain comps where you just spam this to insane degrees and the dot starts mattering, which is also, you can also extend the duration with the first skill, but it's not the major effect. I do think the 50% attack down is insane. The fact that she can loop this MP so easily, no matter if you're like, especially when you're soloing or if you're running specific comps that help her loop her MP, because she keeps stacking the MP gain per turn buff, right? And if you extend the duration with her first skill, she can stack it more than 3 times, so she gets like 40%, 50% passive MP generation every turn. So that means she only needs to like refund 50 on her own, not even counting when enemies attack her. So she can easily get her MP back every single turn when she's soloing. And when you get this MP back every single turn, as long as the enemy doesn't have a debuff immunity, you are forever taking half damage, which is really stupid. Again, taking half damage forever is, I mean, it should be obvious why it's really stupid. She just has like double the effective HP a lot of the times. And the overcharge is nothing too special though. It's just like 1 turn buster up. It just buffs her MP damage and card damage if you want. But
She's really good at soloing.
she's really good at soloing. That's like what I enjoy her about her the most. But the funny thing is, like, I remember when I solo with Tyra, you kind of have to have a lot of mind games. Like I have to like calculate like, oh, when should I pop the guts so the cooldown comes back, and like, oh, if I'm fighting against this boss, I should maybe I should allow her to die a couple times before so she does like enough damage with the vengeance that way. When you solo with this character, there's no game plan. It's just you do MPQA. That's it. That's the whole game. That's it. That's all you do. You just do MPQA and you win. That's the only thing you do with this character when you're soloing her. Like, you can get greedy and do like MPBB after you got like a bunch of stacks, and if you are confident that you're gonna get enough charge back from enemies hitting you, or with the battery skill, you can do MPBB, but you can just stick to MPQA, and as long as the enemy can't one-shot you when their attack is halved, you just can't lose. Like,
Yep.
that's it. Congratulations, you won. That's been what I've done. Every single boss I've fought with her, I've been doing the same thing. I've literally not done anything else, and I have won every single one of them. Obviously, I picked the right fights for her, quote unquote, but
Yeah.
It's
Really-
kind
Really, the thing that the only time she's just getting shredded, I think, is when the enemy actually has like a bunch of their own attack buffs. Like for example, I can't see her beating the Fergus advanced quest, but I mean that's not really saying much. Most people can't solo that.
Oh, challenge accepted, but I get why. Yeah.
Yeah, because like he gets a bunch of attack buffs. I think he and like at that point in time, you're taking neutral, if not more damage than that. And he has the Pierce Invuln.
Yep.
He's a pretty nasty boss. I was messing around with him last night because I was using Summersay.
I think the only one I soloed with was Tyra. The only one that actually I succeeded soloing him with.
Didn't you do a video where you soloed it with the other Bob and Holy Shroud?
Oh, never mind. I did solo with the other Bob because of class advantage. Yeah, never mind. I did.
Yeah, at that point in time, it's not even like really her winning. It's the Archer class prevailing.
Yeah, it's the Archer class. It's just the Archer class with some form of hard defense, and you win. Right. But yeah, like this character is very unfortunate. Should I say unfortunate? Like her solos are very one-dimensional, but I think that's fine because
Yeah.
who cares? Because like most solos, like you're happy if your solo unit is one-dimensional, right? When you're using someone like her, you don't really want to. Oh, your mic is acting up again.
Yeah, I was scratching myself. Sorry. No.
Yeah,
my cord.
Like when you're soloing with a character, you usually don't want to use your brain too much. You just want to do the one thing, and if they can keep doing it, you win. It's the same with like Saber Barghest. Like yeah, you can. There's some adjustments you can do with the game plan, but mainly you're doing MPQA to try to get her MP back and reduce the cooldown and to get her skill back, and then you get the heal back. So like you kind of want that actually. Ironically, so you kind of want like monotone sort of solo abilities, so that usually means they're good soloers, right? And yeah, other than solo, we can talk a little bit about the comp that you came up with. I think you can.
Oh yeah. So
you can talk a bit more.
So there's this really dumb comp that you can do with Double Bob. So since her first skill increases the cooldowns, not cooldowns, the durations of certain types of buffs for 3 turns, and it has a 7-turn cooldown. If you put a second one out there, you can prolong the same buffs for 6 turns. So if you have any cooldown reduction, you're able to prolong them infinite. Because it's going to be 6 turn, like every 6 turns you increase it by 6 turns. Going on and on.
Yeah. And if you're able to reduce the cooldown for more than once, then it just increases the duration. It actually gets longer the more you use it, which is very stupid, but very fun.
Yep. So I like it. It's kind of hard to find stages that will let you see how well it works, but like at the very peak, you can get these like 100% per turn, and then that means you're 100% attack down per turn,
and you just win.
Yeah, it's just so ridiculous.
Like at that point, you just win, right? Like it's just. Yeah, definitely. There aren't a lot of quests that will allow you to do that, as he said. There's just because setting this up kind of takes a little bit of time, and if you are running Double Bob and another cooldown reducer, you don't have any like instant sustain to keep you alive.
Yeah, right, that's why Tomomo is so good there, because she has good self survival. You can keep using her arts buff on herself so she gets the healing.
Yeah. I think I actually pulled off for today's video, because I deleted the clip. Your mic is acting a little bit.
Man,
sorry.
sorry.
It's fine, but like, yeah, I deleted the initial clip, with the run I posted on YouTube, so I had to re-record the clip today. But I did some like adjustments. A cool thing about this comp is if you use like a skill on your team, like a per turn buff skill. For example, Pope Jones skill 3. Pope Jones skill 3 is a 20 MP charge for the entire team per turn, right? If you use Pope Jones skill 3 on this composition, you can make it last forever. Like any of these, per turn buffs, you can essentially preserve them forever by running 2 Bavanshis and a cooldown reducer. So you can carry these buffs that are supposed to be like non-repeatable, that is supposed to be on a skill for 30 turns and beyond, because technically it's infinite. So like, which is a really cool concept, I think. Like they sort of balance these skills out by not allowing them to be spammed on an MP, and instead having them on like a skill, usually with long cooldown as well. For example, like the Daikoke 10 skills as well, right? But then you can preserve them with this effect. It's kind of like a time capsule. You can preserve these buffs forever, which is really cool. Really cool.
That's what Rio did. He used Habitrot and did he use Pope Joan or did he use someone else?
I think he used.
Oh yeah, I think he used Daikokutin and
it's Merlin. I don't know.
Yeah, because like there was no reason for Bargas to NP. He did a setup where he used the next servant to do the same type of setup because she has spoiler cooldown reduction
for the team as well. Well, not including herself, but for her other allies.
Yeah, but she didn't really need the stuff for herself, to be honest.
Yeah.
So let's get Cupcake up here. Do we have more to say about Bob?
Not much. Like honestly, like once again, this character's verdict is there's a lot of cool stuff you can pull off with her. She's like exactly the kind of servant that someone like me would like, because she's very she makes very cool videos, right?
Yeah.
Like she's not necessarily a very practical servant for challenge quests, normal challenge quest clears or like farming. She's not that practical, but for like very cool wacky stuff she can be very useful, and she's still good as a teammate for someone like Merlin, even if you're using her like quote unquote normally. So yeah, and having the anti-trait does allow her to have some form of niche, I guess. If you want to fight some man attribute knights, you can just use her as well. So really cool servant. I give her a 10 out of 10, but obviously I don't think her practicality is 10 out of 10. But
yeah, I don't. It's sort of the opposite thing as with Melu for me. Although I don't know, I feel like she's not going to be super useful in farming, but in challenge quests, I can see her still being a really good option, because you can use her in place of like a saber or a lancer or an archer if you just don't have a very good one on hand.
Yeah, you don't have to go infinite. Like, yeah, you can go infinite with her, but you don't have to go infinite.
Yeah, right. She just has really good. She does a lot of the things she herself wants. She does a lot of the little upkeep for herself. It's sort of like what Archer Arjuna does, because Archer Arjuna, he's lacking in some areas, but he has no issues like keeping himself fed, basically.
Yeah,
because they both got the heal per turn and the charge per turn, and stars per turn. So it's really just like you take other servants that just boost their damage, and they just throw that on top of that stuff, and they can already make do with it.
Yep. Very cool servant.
So, honestly, I'll give her a 10, because she's a lot of fun. She's very unique. She brought a whole new thing to the table, and I think we're only scratching the surface with what she's able to do now.
Yeah, some guy's gonna come up with something crazy with her someday.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
look forward to it.
Yep.
And then we've got this one. We got Cupcake over here. That's what I named the image, because I have a folder with all of these. I got Berker, I got Bucket, I got Cupcake, Smob, and Knockers.
She do be knockers, bro.
Although she is lacking knockers. Uh, Anyways, so Vargas is a whole lot of not as many things as Smob, but she does have some really interesting things going on, and I do like that she sort of breaks the mold like her Saber version did, although it's a very different way, I would say.
Yeah.
So she's got pretty okay gains. Like she's got a quick art stack with an arts NP. And like her hit counts on these, like quick cards are meh. Although it is 4 hits, so she makes a little bit of stars. And then the arts cards, like it's a little bit below Anastasia's generally, and that's like kind of her competition. Put some quotations on that for future reference. But yeah, she's got alright gains, I'd say. She is an archer, so she gets her own stars pretty easily. Speaking of stars, she's got this very interesting first skill. It's like a whole paragraph of text. So she's guaranteed to get 30% attack and 50% crit for herself for 3 turns. She also gets a similar buff to what she got on her second skill as a saber, but instead of 1,000 for herself, 1,000 health on every attack for herself, it's actually 500 for the whole team on every attack she does. So in a solo, it's a nerf, but it's pretty nice. Like you get a brave chain, you give the team 1,500 heal. I don't think it's gonna be that massive most of the time, but it's a little bit of something. It's still pretty neat. Now, if you have a 3-star or 2-star or 1-star or 0-star on the field, she also gets 20% attack for 3 turns and 10 stars per turn. So she makes stars and now she's got 50% attack. And some people don't like that because they don't use a lot of 3-stars, but it's very easy to justify it because like even if you like use 5 stars as much as possible, or if you're in a farming situation, you can still easily justify someone like Jufu, because like basically everyone should have their Jufu leveled, because it's like 2.5 Castorias in farming basically.
Yeah, 2.5 Castor is a pretty apt description.
And then yeah, you get 20% more attack out of that, although you won't have like if you're probably better off with the Tamamo or something, but still a good bit of something. And she crits more consistently. And then her second skill, she heals everyone else on the team except herself. She gives them all invuln except herself, and she reduces their cooldowns, and she charges her own gauge. So if she's on her own, all she gets is an NP charge. If she's in a team, this skill is just kind of nuts. Because like that's team survival, it's team cooldown reduction, it's team HP generation.
Yeah, it's
it's a lot of stuff going on. And honestly, I don't think it's really even that offensive that she doesn't get the invuln, because if you're using her with Castoria, she already has the invuln. So
yeah, I feel like people are just disappointed because she was the she was the staple solo unit, and I see a lot of Argus fans gets really disappointed because they were expecting a different twist on a solo unit, but then they gave it to the other Fairy Knights.
Yeah, she's I think this is a pretty cool skill. It's a shame it's a 7-turn cooldown, but it makes complete sense. There are some usage cases where you can actually just have her pop in. She uses this skill and she can pop off an NP, and then you can cycle her out immediately because she's the only one not invulned. So I like that kind of flexibility. I'm not sure how common it'll be. It kind of depends on what you're trying to do. But it's a thing you can do.
Yeah.
And then her third skill is like the most interesting thing here. It's a 3-turn 30% NP damage buff, and she has the option of switching her NP type to single target instead of AoE for 3 turns. which is super interesting. That means the multiplier is increased. This is unironically the highest damage boosting
Skill.
skill in the game,
Yeah,
even more than Oberon, because it's affecting your multiplier. And I think it's really handy because like you could be in an AoE situation, but then you're in the last few turns. This skill has already come back from cooldown, and you can get through the last bar faster because you can switch to you can switch to a single target, or you can just use her in a single target fight and just use this from the get-go.
Yep.
It's just some really cool flexibility.
Yeah, you double your damage with your MP, basically.
Yep. And she's got debuff resist, and she still has some of the madness enhancement. And she has anti-man crit, just like Bob does. And she also has this weird passive where she gets 5% charge per turn on burning, and she also gets burn and spread of fire debuff immune. Alright, this actually wasn't here for a while. I guess they updated that within like the last day.
See, this would have been cool if she extinguishes her teammates.
Oh yeah, that'd make a little bit of sense, but unfortunately, that's not where she's aiming.
You know the man melter in Team Fortress 2?
Yeah.
That should have, I don't know.
Yeah.
She got crits.
Yeah,
after
yeah, dude. It's so funny. That weapon is so weird because like it's so easy to forget it actually extinguishes fires. It sucks them up.
Yeah. I hate it because it doesn't have an attack animation. That's it. That's the only reason I hate it. It's just. Anyways.
Yeah, it's so close to being a cool weapon. Anyways, we're not talking about Team Fortress 2. We're talking about F-Go. Talking about Fago.
Yeah.
So, AoE NP, offensive buff removal. That's, I always like this effect. That helps the team stay alive longer. Gets rid of those crit buffs, those crit rate buffs. Pierce Invuln even.
Here's the extinguish. I forgot.
Huh?
Here it is. Here's the extinguish. I keep forgetting about it. Never mind. Sorry for cutting you off.
Oh. Yeah, and then she removes burn and burn spread from the enemy. So the same thing that Nightingale does, except I guess it's not as bad because she doesn't remove all debuffs. That can be kind of annoying if you're using Honey Lake. Although, like, you might be in an AoE situation and then that doesn't really make that big of a difference because Honey Lake does fall off in an AoE situation unless you're using someone specifically to enable AoE burn. Yeah, esports caster Liz.
That's a nail in the coffin right there for soloing. She's anti Honey Lake. Oh boy.
Yeah. I guess it's not too bad. This happens after the damage, so like you can do like NP art and immediately reapply the burn after the NP.
Yeah, it doesn't actually matter if that's the case, to be honest.
Yeah. It just means in a team you're not going to be running Honey Lake probably because you're probably going to use the NP more than you're going to get that burn code.
Yeah, just use Black Grill or something. I don't know.
And then a little arts buff for one turn. The same thing most servants do these days. But yeah, it's a little bit of gain boost. Her NP refund is not exceptional, but it's pretty good still. It's definitely not much anything if it's single target, but that's because it's the same hit counts. But yeah, you triple it and then it's alright. It's not like double Castoria is always going to refund you to 100%. But like, I mean, you could just do this thing like swap in a Jufu and cover the rest of the way, and they'll even get you a 20% attack buff.
True. Yeah, Shufu is a really good partner for her.
Yeah. And it's also even more stars, so she can do more critting. So speaking of critting, there's a problem with her. And I'm sure wiki readers didn't immediately notice this, because if you just look at the buffs, you're gonna miss the trees, you know?
Yep.
So, if you look at the trees, you're gonna miss the grass. Let's say that. So, yeah, 50% crit, 50% attack for 3 turns, that sounds all well and good. her attack stat is really low. That can really hurt her crit damage. That's part of why she has such strong buffs for her NP, because she has 30% NP damage, she has 50% attack, and then she has 20% arts on her NP, but it's not super amazing damage. Like it's median NP damage, I'd say.
Yeah, it kind of sucks how it's the one thing she kept from her saber form. Exactly.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, and it's more of a problem for her because archers have a 5% penalty on their damage,
Yeah,
whereas sabers are
0.95.
neutral, and then
Yeah, and she's also
lancers.
not
Yeah.
like a she's also not like a solo centric servant, so the HP, like I really appreciate like high HP sometimes for these kind of sustained solo units, but she's not one.
Yeah.
So
She's
yeah.
not as much of a tank enjoyer, although like she does like the team play thing. It's just it feels a little misplaced because she's an archer.
Yeah.
So she does have the absorb of a crit servant. Here's another problem that she has as a crit servant. Her deck, it's like one of the worst crit decks in the game.
Yep.
Um,
Don't
that
like
being
this deck.
said, if it's if it's on a quick NP servant, that's one thing. Like Suzuka has the same deck, and it's actually really good for her. But since she's an art servant, the art servants don't really give a fuck about their quick cards. Uh,
Yeah.
and then those are just generally weak cards. So like I made a video using her, and I thought it was a bit of fun to use her, but her card damage was just really lacking. She was basically just NP damage, and that was the bulk of her damage. So like
And then
even
her quick card has the same hit count as her art, so her arts or cards are just better.
yeah, her
Uh,
quick cards are just not good.
yeah.
So her damage with her cards isn't her strong suit, which is kind of interesting because like the Saber version, they also went over the top in giving her a ton of offensive buffs. Like she has 90% Buster when she NPs, but that's to make up for her lower attack stat, and it does make up for it because she has a Buster deck. We're not looking at the same kind of deck here. She has a single Buster card. We went from 4 to 0 to 1. Went from the best card damage deck to the worst. Second worst. I don't know. Actually, I feel like an arts deck can have some potential. Like,
No, but they always screw with the MP rate if it's an arts deck. Like it's not gonna
eh,
be 0.41. If it's an arts deck, it's gonna be like 0.31, and it's gonna be horrible. So I don't know. I have a perpetual fear of arts decks in this game because they like to screw over their MP gains so hard.
yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
Uh, yeah. So, I like her. I like Bargest. I don't think she's anything credible beyond, like, you can switch between stuff. I mean, okay. I got too focused on the negatives. I still think I still think she's really good. So I'd say like an 8 out of 10. She's pretty flexible. It's just, if you're trying to get card damage out of her, you're gonna be a little disappointed.
Like me personally, I very much hope she was fully offense oriented, just because I like it's just me. But I think like if you really like her and you like hyper invest in her MP levels and stuff, you essentially have a 2-in-1.
Yeah,
And like and this is not like Lancer Melusine, where like let's be real, nobody's switching Lancer Melusine's form like mid battle. You're just using that as a 100 MP battery. It's not as interesting. Like technically she has the potential of being like no matter if it's a boss killing fight or if you're farming, you can just start with AoE and then you pivot into a single target. That's such a cool idea, but she is just
yeah,
not a offense focused character. If she was an offense focused character, you can at worst, you are at the same time raising an AoE arts and an AoE single target. And at best, you're raising an AoE arts that can turn into sorry, not AoE arts, into an AoE single target. What do you mean? My bad. But like at best, you're raising a AoE arts that can turn into a single target arts mid battle, and she can still retain all the buffs from the arts boosts, arts buff. So like she had immense potential. I just hope she was more selfish. Like I say that a lot. I hope a
Yeah.
lot of servers are just more selfish, especially for a character whose main gimmick is so offensive oriented. Because I personally think, you know, changing MP types is like for someone who is purely about offense. That's when you can take the most advantage out of it. So, anyways, a bit of a shame, but I still like her gameplay. She has the team cooldown reduction, pairs well with Bob, and she really cool. Like I don't know, 7 out of 10. Just a bit of a missed opportunity, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, yeah, she's very practical. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. She's just a very practical servant to have, because she's more versatile than a lot of them.
Yeah.
So
120 UDK has less attack than level 90 Durga. Jesus Christ. I mean, okay, Durga has like the third highest attack in the game, though. It's kind of she's like overboard as an archer. She has a higher attack than like Avengers, most Avengers in the game, but still kind of sad. Like they made her a tank when she isn't a tank in terms of stats, and it's just kind of
yeah. I think actually I'm gonna amp up my score. I'm gonna say a 9 out of 10. Because really it's just she has some offensive downfalls, but like you can just like you can boost her with buffers. She has some good team support. I do think that is like the way she does it is pretty unique, and the fact that she's very versatile and she can cover multiple damage rolls, I think that's really valuable.
Yeah, for sure. Now, what Chad has to remember is that this is like two perspectives. Like me and Otto usually have very different perspectives because you know he plays the game like he tests out way more teams than I do. When he looks at a character, he tests out like their general usage with a lot of different supports, and I'm more of a quote unquote brain rot kind of person. So that's why I
think you sell yourself a bit too short.
I mean, yeah, but that's why I like, you know, characters that focus on like one role. Like that's also why I heavily misjudged Bob when she like I saw her leaked kit and I was like, this character is so pointless. Why does she exist? And then, you know, like that was and people wouldn't let me go in the comments as well. Like there's this guy in the comments that's always like, plushie mistress in his reaction video, she's gonna be so bad gameplay wise. It's just, okay, but like you know, like it's funny. I don't mind, but like yeah, like I'm very easily sort of, you know, I don't know how to put it. Very easily like
it's easy to jump to conclusions.
Yeah. Essentially, it's just I don't think I've used her nearly enough. It's just every time I'm using her, I'm just like, damn, why don't you do more damage? But her damage is not bad. Like you know, oh, she said her 120 UDK Bargas attack stat is lower than level 90 Durga. But you know what's sadder? I'm pretty sure her single target damage is the exact same as Archer Artoria, with both of them ungrailed.
Yeah. I think that's part of why they gave Archer Artoria that battery skill. They're like, oh shit, wait, she's about to get some competition here, and she's the only one that doesn't have a battery.
And they gave
Orion doesn't exist.
Dude, they really gave her the one thing that she didn't need as well. Like,
I mean, to be fair, it does really
so like the lowest attack stat 4-star arc still does more than God, not more, but the same.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it does kind of make sense because she does have that demerit on her second skill that can really fuck you up if you're stuck at NP1.
True, I really dislike that. It's like Saber Chic. It's like a Saber Chic fix.
Yeah, I just got Saber Chic-y, and I'm gonna have that problem if I use her.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's just a buff that definitely needed to be put on Orion. Yeah. I don't care if other people say Orion.
Fun fact about this character, like people can't shut up about it, but you probably heard it. The person driving the fire truck is Fujimaru.
Yeah, it's us.
It's us. We got a license. We can't even drink, but we got a license for a truck. Amazing.
We can't drink, but we can drive a fire truck. Apparently, we have that level of a license.
Yep, very amazing. God.
Yeah, he is now a licensed truck driver, and he can make like $30-something an hour, uh, doing one of the least interesting jobs in the world, probably.
Yep.
I gotta say though, truck drivers make good money. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, I think they deserve to, because that job is just like really. Like, I'd imagine it gets kind of lonely.
And it's very taxing to the body. They're usually like midnight. They have to drive
Yeah,
across the highways and stuff.
yeah, driving for like 10 or 12 hours. They literally go on. They have to be paid to go on a business trip every time they work, basically.
Yep.
So, anyways, next up we've got one left. We've got
The free one.
yeah, the free one, which I think some people have some particularly harsh opinions of. I do understand why, because there's definitely some awkwardness going on with her.
They definitely sell her short though. Like I've reevaluated her kit recently because I had a discussion with someone, and
Yeah,
I like people definitely don't give her enough credit.
get her up right here. And we got Nocneria. So Nocneria is an AoE arts foreigner, which is we've only had one of those up until now, which I believe was Hokusai, the very second one that we got. Why do I have? I have so many scenes I have to sort through on the OBS. Need to clean some out. But yeah, she's got an art stack. Her NP gain isn't too great because art stacks these days are not allowed to have good NP gain, but she makes up for it in other ways. Hit counts are just not really incredible in any way. She's not a card damage servant though, so.
Yep.
I'd say she's more of a support than anything, but you can use her for art sleeping.
Yeah.
So, she has, I think to better understand her, I think we have to start from the second skill. So,
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
So, her second skill gives the team 20% NP damage. It skill seals everyone. The skill seal is special though. It also acts as a trait which her first, second, and third skills all benefit from. And it gives them 50% attack for 3 turns, 30% defense for 3 turns. So that's a lot of damage boost, because you got 20% MP damage and then 50% attack. That's a ton. And then also 30% battery for people who have that skill seal. And then she has her own debuff immune, and it's the whatever body skill she has. Except it's actually a little bit better because she has the 20% NP regen instead of 10% like her rider version has. And then her third skill, it's 20% arts for herself only. She has a chance of stunning everyone, so like if you got Fuma or Phantom out on the field, then you can get a pretty good stun there for a turn. It's only on a 6-turn. God, they keep making these stun skills with 60% chance that are on 6-turn cooldowns and stuff. Like, fucking hell. Shooting over here has 60% chance of charming the enemy team. And a 20% defense debuff on a 7-turn cooldown. Why do they keep doing this?
No, you don't understand. It's yeah.
Thank you. You really helped there.
Look.
Man, fuck off, Tez. Why do you have to be so much better than her?
He's Grand Assassin for some reason. So there you go.
What I want them to do with shooting, I want them to give her like 20% team NP regen on her first skill. These days I feel like that's not too incredible. Especially since Tez already gives the team 40% with his second skill and an NP. Tez is ugly and shooting isn't. Yeah, it depends on who you ask, but Yeah.
Wow, SMH. How can
I
you call him ugly when
I
he's
I don't
when he...
really disagree. I don't like men. I don't dislike men. I just don't like men. You get me? Unlike that one guy thought when he asked if we were boyfriends.
Oh boy.
God, that
Did you
was
know? Oh, sorry. Yeah, that was so weird. Did
yeah.
you know Tez? Another fun fact from like an interview. So did you know Tez like his weird ass like bone mech in his first Ascensions MP?
Yeah, it wasn't planned to be a lore thing, right? It
That was
was
supposed to be his FA.
oh right. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that now.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then
it's
Natsu was like, "No, that's too crazy. What do you mean? That would have been cool. Whatever, man."
and just make him a big ol' bone mech dude.
Yeah, that would have been cool. I don't know. I would have liked that.
But instead now he just blows smoke at them in
Yep.
his MP.
Yep.
So yeah, she's also got a 20% defense debuff here. But she seals the party's arts cards except her own. So everyone doesn't get arts cards except for Castoria, which, I mean, you're probably going to run her with Castoria, makes sense.
Yep.
But that's just one turn. So in a farming setup, that can be a little awkward, because if you're running her multi-core with an arts servant, that means they can't make use of the defense debuff, unless, of course, you remove that. But you can't chain with Castoria's MP, and I'm assuming that's the way you try to get rid of it. Whatever.
Yeah. But you also don't have to run her with art servants.
Yeah. She's got debuff resist at a decent amount. She's got charge per turn and stars per turn. 4 stars per turn. I hadn't seen that until now. But she also has Team Stargent up. So she's I feel like she's a lot of a support servant.
Yeah.
That being said, her NP isn't really a supporty NP. It's a self-support NP though. 5k HP heal, and then she removes her own debuffs. Wait a second.
It's a
Wait,
really big heal. It's
that's
like Kiara. Wait, that's not her
yeah.
MP.
Yeah, it's not complete. There's a defense debuff on it.
Bruh, FGO Wiki. FGO Wiki.
Madge.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
Wow.
Vanguard energy. They started making these. I blame Kukulkan. It's her fault. They started making these without Vanguard synergies.
Yeah, Vanga's just too powerful. They gotta nerf her by making new servants that can't get anything out of her. At least not enough. So, hey, this is still a pretty cool NP. I could imagine this is pretty good for solos. Although she doesn't really have much going on outside of that. Defensively, like, she does have this HP regen, but I kind of feel like the HP regen's gonna mess up this skill, because this NP, because you might be using heal boost, and that means you use another card before the NP, because the first skill's gonna eat it.
Yeah.
And she does have the stun, yeah.
And yeah, it's still good. Like, it's just so much heal. Like, even at base 5,000 heal on an MP is just really good, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the Kiara thing, it's the Jufu thing. It's a pretty cool thing. So Skill Seal is like one of the most disruptive debuffs in the entire game. Because not only does it prevent you from using skills for that turn, it also like means your cooldowns get fucked up. And it's a 3-turn Skill Seal, and what might not be immediately apparent, her attack buff and defense buff only, like, you can apply them like any time, but they're only active when you have that debuff. So if you immediately clear it, you will lose the attack buff and defense buff.
Yep.
They list her third skill as having Pierce Emblem. Does it say that? It doesn't say that anymore. I know that when Zhang Yu came out on NA, they said he had invuln for 3 turns.
Oh boy, that is
The buff he always needed. Now he has an evade and a 3-turn invuln.
actual solo god. Hurt, get the hell out of my face.
It's invuln pierce though. What a shame.
I mean, it's still good. 3-turn invul Pierce is still good, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's not
Yeah.
not as good as 3-turn invul though.
Yeah, dude. Dude, that would have been fantastic. So I can see her being pretty disruptive because of the skill seal, but that's just something you'll want to work around, I think. It might not be too easy to work around it, but like you get 50% attack, you get 20% defense down, you get another 20% defense down from her NP, and then you get 20% NP damage up. And then you get 30% battery, so like if you're doing some sort of multi-core setup, like if you're using her for farming, she does do a lot of damage boosting. It's just like, is the cooldowns getting messed up going to be worth it?
Well, if you're multi-core farming, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right? Like I've seen a lot of people already coming up with compositions. Like basically most compositions you could run with Koyan Dark. You could run with this character. And her buffs are technically better than Koyan Dark if your allies are not animal trait. And it also isn't limited to Buster. Right? So
Yeah.
I mean, but it also has a weird limit where it can't be arts because
Yeah.
the third. So it's kind of funny. So it's like you get Buster or Quick. Well, also you can just not use this skill, I guess. Like you don't have to use this skill.
Yeah.
Like you don't really have to use it. You can like save this until like when she MPs or something. So like there are already a lot of compositions coming out. Like 50% attack up and 20% MP damage up is insanely high in terms of buff. Like you don't get better than this.
And she's free.
And she's free.
The only other free servant that I can think of that does that kind of damage buffing for 3 turns, that isn't like bursty, I would say that's Santa Martha. And
oh, true. And it was strength dependent, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. That being said, I mean, Santa Martha still gives you like 70%. Yeah, it's just, there are ways of working around this. Like, you can just immediately remove it afterwards. Like, Atlas is a thing that exists.
Yeah.
Like maybe you're only going to get 1 NP out of those 3 turns that it's going to be skill sealed, so you can just use that turn, and then use that, and you get the NP, then you remove the skill seal the next turn. I guess that's one of the benefits of it being Castoria that is immune to this. You can use this skill, and you can still immediately remove the skill seal with Castoria's NP. Because if you have an Arts NP, you can't use it on this turn.
Yeah.
But Castoria can. Yeah, I think she's just a good support that you have to think a lot about how you're using.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of them aren't.
If you're doing multi-core farming, you can just pop all your skills on the first turn. Like a lot of compositions allow you to do that. So the skills don't matter. Like I'm gonna be real, okay? I'm gonna be a little bit harsh here, but if you can work around freaking Tonalico skill 3, alright, you can work around this.
Yeah.
This is easier to work around than Tonalico skill 3. Like let's be real. And this is more damage buffs. This is like a bigger damage buff than her skill 3. The AoE charge is less, but it's more damage buffs. And she's free. Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't really had a chance to use her that much. And her mats don't look too bad, but for my account, they are atrocious. Like,
I don't have any.
Yeah, I'm almost out of the seeds. I'm almost out of the feathers. I think I've got like 10 of the horns left. I have no spirit roots at all. It's just all of them are terrible for me.
Yeah, I've heard people in the TA community, Minturn community, because I do follow them. They do say that esports Nocnaria was also a thing if you like that kind of stuff because of how good her buffs are. It's too good to pass. Apparently.
Yeah, you can just use her first and second skills. She's probably pretty Yeah, and you're not really missing out on a lot if you're not trying to get her to do a lot of damage, because she's not like super amazing as a damage dealer. She can, I believe you're able to. It's sort of like, what's her name? Zenobia's looping, because Zenobia has her
Passive.
refund isn't really that huge, but she has a 20% recharge, so it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
1 times 3 times 4. Yeah, she's like right below 5%. And if you're at the 5% range for an arts servant, you're probably gonna want some sort of self battery, and she has self battery, so we're fine.
Yeah.
10-10-1 looks so ugly. Well, you see, if you keep her at level 40, then you won't even see the one.
Exactly. Alright. Anyways, I mean, this is definitely. I think people would start warming up to her. Like the moment when they start copying multi-core farming for 90 plus plus, and this character suddenly becomes like really relevant. Like, I mean, she's already like I've already seen compositions for this event multi-core, like because she can clear wave 1 and then she can give very good
Yeah.
buffs for the secondary single target that you do for wave 2 and wave 3. So like really really solid unit, really good for free servant. Like have we really ever gotten like such a good sort of multi-core DPS as a welfare? I'm not sure.
Trying to think of, I want to say we got one that has a 20% team battery. Who would that been, though?
Ryoma? No, she's
Ryoma. Dude, that crazy 10% battery.
yeah.
Just what I needed.
You got 10.
Oh, jeez.
I don't remember.
BB? Oh, Taisui. Taisui is... I mean, he's got team damage. It's
Yeah.
just team 20% though.
Yeah, like this is wild. Like, these numbers are wild for Nocnaria.
I guess we can say Habitrot.
Oh, okay, well, true. So
she just removes herself from the equation. Okay, event reward.
AoE 30.
I guess Nobu is looking a little better these days. She does have 20% Buster and 20% MP damage for the team. It's it's pretty notable, even though her damage still isn't really that good.
Oh, Pretender is. Oh, you're right. Pretender
Oh yeah, I think that's who I was thinking of. Yeah, she's pretty good for it. She's not super high on damage because she is a Pretender, but it still helps. She's got like a bunch of weird buffs on her first. I can't remember those. I can't. Yeah,
it depends on the chaotic, the whatever.
Yeah, the alignment.
Yeah, it's very annoying.
Very strange.
It's like Hans, bro. So yeah, this character, I honestly, as a welfare, I'd rank her like really high up there.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't used her enough to make a good judgment on it, but like at a glance, I'd say, and like I'm a bit past a glance by now. I would say like an 8 or a 9.
Yeah. As a free MP5.
Yeah, I've been wanting to see more servants that have really big demerits, but have really, really big merits. Yeah. And I feel like we don't have very many of those. Basically, I guess that's one of the things I like a lot about Miss Crane's support, because Miss Crane, basically all the stuff she has is good. It's just you have to think to work around it. Like, I know thinking in a gacha game is not always appreciated, but it's nice to have at times.
Wait, I didn't know this was a thing. Her skill seal can be blocked by magic resist. Is that real?
Bro.
I thought that was treated as a buff. Excuse me?
Well, I mean, you can remove it, so...
Oh my god, no! You're gonna fail your multi-core because they have magic resist EX. Oh no!
Yeah, sorry, Bob.
No, dude, that's so fun. That's actually hilarious. Oh my god. It happened when I used her Castor, bro. Wait, no, Castoria. No, Castoria only is immune to the Arch Seal. So it. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, that's. I mean, Castoria doesn't really need it, to be fair, but still. RNG farming, it's like low high roll, except it's like way worse. Yeah, way bigger difference.
Damn, should I dock a point for that? Oh my god, I didn't know that was a thing. That's kind of
Yeah.
that's kind of horrible. I look, that's kind of horrible to be honest.
Most of the servants I use don't have that much magic resist, so it might not be a big problem for me, but I could see it.
You can't even
Yeah.
save scum this. Like for farming, you can't even save scum this. If they block it, they block it, and it's over.
I could
The
imagine
summer
it's
Chloe-
yeah, I could imagine it's worse for you though, because both of your most recent grails have 25% plus debuff resist.
Oh my god.
Because
I
Durga
mean,
has like 40%.
she can't work with Durga anyways. Durga's arts is kind of okay.
Yeah. It's some stuff. I mean, like, you wouldn't really want to use her if you've got a better card buffer anyways, but I think it's sort of a Santa Martha situation where her support is especially appreciated on top of a good card buffer. Because she's got the thing going on where she has, like, a bunch of attack, where someone like Vitch doesn't have any attack. She has Buster and she has crit.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, this
some,
is a very good. Scales very well.
Yeah. Pretty cool. So I'd say like an 8. It might go up or down depending on her performance in the future. It's just like I don't know.
I was gonna give her a 9 because I usually am more lenient about free stuff. But then I found out about the skill seal being able to be blocked by magic resist, and now she's an 8.
And she doesn't even have a passive that makes her land debuffs better.
Oh no.
No.
This is definitely an oversight. They should've just...
Here's what you do. You use her with Kazgil.
Does it even work on party?
I think it would, because like, if you have debuff resist down, I'd assume that it would work the same way. Yeah, if you use Kazgil, then she has 30% more chance to give the team skill seal.
I mean, Kazgil is AoE 20. The number works out. The AoE 30 and the AoE 20 works out very well with Kazgil. But
dude.
Yeah,
go test that and let us know. Let us know how it works. And it's we're at already over 2.5 hours here. Time kind of flew.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
This summer is very interesting. With their server, I like the design a lot. There's a train outside. What the hell? Anyways,
dang, it's crazy that there's a train outside. Damn.
Yeah, there's a
Never
train
would have
outside.
expected one outside of all places.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah.
So it's kind of an interesting thing. Like last year's the servants were just like really strong, really meta servants. And then this year's none of them are like meta, I would say, but most all of them have something interesting to bring to the table.
I mean, Melusine's pretty meta, and she also doesn't have anything interesting to bring.
Yeah, but yeah, she's like, yeah, I don't know why they made another AoE arts ruler. like in the last year and a half, we've gotten Moriarty, we've gotten Io, we've gotten Joan, and now we have her. Like, we went from 0 AoE arts rulers to 4 within a little over a year.
I'm pretty sure they didn't explain why she was a ruler in the event either. I might have missed it, but I'm pretty sure there wasn't a good explanation.
I remember a Twitter post. It might have been a translation. It didn't say it was a translation, but it was something along the lines of, she said that originally people thought she should be a ruler, and then Suzuka was like, "No, you're lying. You just I can see with my perfect special eyes that that you're lying and you just wanted to be a ruler."
Bruh.
Because she's got mystic eyes, which normally manifests in like a little male charm.
That's kind of funny.
I don't remember it entirely. I haven't really been keeping up with much of the story. I just know that it's Lost Belt 6, except it's goofier.
And it's Australian. For some.
Yeah, Hawaii, Australia.
Yeah. Good, nice idea, BB. We definitely needed that.
BB.
So yeah, really cool.
Really good summer so far. Granted, there's not really much else to do this summer. I'm like halfway caught up. I sat there for a while yesterday, just like grinding stuff, and then I realized I was stuck somewhere, and then all I had to do was buy like a little stick of ice cream from the shop.
Oh yeah, dude! Everybody asked about it in JP chat in my server. Like
Yeah,
literally,
dude.
everybody. How do I progress? Just buy the popsicle and give it to Oberon. That's literally what that's what happened. It's so stupid.
And you telling me that the progression isn't locked entirely behind farming?
It's
Why
locked
the fuck
behind.
do I have to buy a popsicle? I'd rather buy a popsicle in real life.
Yeah, well, Oberon's being a dick
Yeah.
as usual.
Yeah. Well, I think that's gonna wrap it up for this first episode of this podcast. If you guys really enjoyed this, just let us know down below. I know I enjoyed it, and I think Plushie enjoyed it, right?
Yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah. I guess we won't
like a-
always. Sorry.
Oh, I know. I was just saying it's like a good practice before I make like hot takes of other characters, because like
Yeah.
I definitely didn't have as much experience with some other characters
Yeah.
compared to Bakuchi. So very interesting to have this talk.
Yeah. Well, people in chat seem to be happy about it, so I'm gonna try to get this out on my channel by tomorrow. I'm not gonna put a lot of editing into it because like it's 3 hours long. Dude, I put editing into a recent video that was like over an hour long. It took me a long time to get that out.
Damn, that's I mean, yeah, editing is a pain after just getting all the clips.
Yeah. Yeah, even if it's just like one long thing you gotta edit, it's yeah, it can be a little annoying. But I don't know how much of a regular thing this will be. Like, dude, I'd love to make this a weekly thing, but I'm not sure if we're gonna have enough to talk about in FGO. But then again,
Yeah.
like we made 3 hours out of this. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if this
was
is a
a
good
lot of
precedent to set because like, it's a lot to talk about.
There's a lot of characters this time.
Yeah.
We can talk about maybe, I don't know, Summer 6 is coming out on NA. We can talk about Summer
Oh,
6
yeah.
characters.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, like even if there's not much happening the next month, we have like all of the past 7 years we can talk about.
true. Just to have fun, yeah. We can talk about how egregious Summer 7 is. In terms of power level, and also prep for. I do think their banners are gonna come out maybe next Wednesday, or I don't know. I just feel like they have to rerun Summer 7 characters sometime, and probably be soon. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so I'm only scheduled for like 1 day of work this week, which is fine because I got moving prep to do, but I also learned that moving prep isn't going to be as bad because my brother is hiring movers to move his stuff.
Oh, that's really nice.
So,
I see. So you
yeah, so
tag
basically,
along, kinda.
yeah, actually, they need someone to take care of the pets while they're gone. So I'm just gonna put my stuff downstairs. The movers are gonna move it over there, and then they can just take it on over to the next house. And
Sounds great.
yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot easier than I thought it was.
I'm glad to hear that, honestly.
So I have no excuse to not make a lot of videos in this time. I really want to make some sort of showcase of Summer Ibuki, and I think it would be a perfect time to do that if she's getting a
Yeah,
If she's getting a banner sometime soon. Man,
probably. I'd imagine.
I did not expect the Smobcast logo to look as good as it does. It just really pops with that background. Like
Yeah.
when, dude, I love it.
Color's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, whoever the hell took a picture of your podcast studio, and thank you for letting me. Thank you for consenting to me recoloring the benches and putting my own podcast over it. Hope the move goes smoothly for me. The moving day is going to, like the time the truck is gonna be here to move everything. That's gonna be on the 31st. So I'm gonna be moving sometime like within the next week after that.
I see.
So we
Good
got
luck on that,
we got dates going on. I'm glad to know when things are happening.
Yeah, it's a lot less stressful to.
Yeah.
Know,
Anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and see you all in the next one.